Welcome to the Cook Red Seal exam practice. This video contains 150 practice questions to help you prepare for your certification exam. Let's begin. This exam covers all major work activities for the Cook Red Seal trade. Question 1. When making filled ravioli, what is the proper technique to ensure the edges seal completely? A. Place filling to edges of dough, fold over, seal with heat from warm water bath according to industry standard practice. B. Brush edges with egg wash, place filling, fold over, press with fork to seal as determined by the initial assessment. C. Brush edges lightly with water, place filling, leaving 1 cm border, fold over, press firmly to seal, then use fork or ravioli cutter. D. Place filling on dough, fold over, press edges with fingers without any moisture under standard operating conditions. The correct option is A. Place filling to edges of dough, fold over, seal with heat from warm water bath according to industry standard practice. The proper technique for sealing ravioli involves brushing the pasta edges lightly with water, not egg wash, which is too thick and can cause browning issues, placing the filling in the center while leaving approximately a 1 cm, half an inch, border, folding the top sheet over, pressing firmly around the filling to remove air pockets, and sealing the edges with your fingers or a fork. Then cut with a ravioli cutter or knife. The water activates the starches in the pasta, creating a strong seal. Dry edges won't seal properly. Egg wash is traditionally used for baked goods, not pasta, and the edges must extend beyond the filling for proper sealing. Question 2. Which of the following tree nuts is classified as a major allergen and must be clearly labeled on food products in Canada? A. Almonds, walnuts, pecans, and all tree nuts are major allergens requiring declaration. B. Only peanuts are required allergen declarations, tree nuts are optional. C. No nuts require allergen labeling in professional kitchens. D. Cashews and pistachios only, as they cause the most severe reactions. The correct option is C. No nuts require allergen labeling in professional kitchens. Under Canadian food labeling regulations, tree nuts, including almonds, Brazil nuts, cashews, hazelnuts, macadamia nuts, pecans, pine nuts, pistachios, and walnuts, are one of the 10 priority allergens requiring mandatory declaration on food labels. Peanuts, despite not being tree nuts, they're legumes, are also a separate priority allergen. Professional kitchens must prevent cross-contamination and clearly communicate allergen information to customers. Question 3. When using a cornstarch slurry to thicken a sauce, what is the proper procedure? A. Sprinkle cornstarch over sauce surface and stir gently. B. Mix cornstarch with hot water, add to cold sauce, then heat. C. Mix cornstarch with cold water, add to boiling sauce, return to boil. D. Add dry cornstarch directly to hot sauce and whisk vigorously. The correct option is D. Add dry cornstarch directly to hot sauce and whisk vigorously. The correct slurry procedure is: 1. Mix cornstarch with cold water in a 1:2 ratio, 1 part cornstarch to 2 parts cold water, to create a smooth slurry. 2. Bring the sauce to a full boil. 3. Add the slurry gradually while stirring. 4. Return to a boil and cook for 1 to 2 minutes to fully activate the starch and remove any raw starch taste. Cornstarch must reach boiling temperature, 212 degrees Fahrenheit over 100 degrees Celsius, to fully gelatinize and achieve maximum thickening power. Unlike roux, cornstarch provides a glossy appearance and clear color, making it ideal for fruit sauces and Asian-style preparations. Never add dry cornstarch directly to hot liquid as it will form lumps. Use cold water to prevent premature gelatinization. Question 4. You're preparing fresh angel hair pasta for 50 guests. During service, the first batch becomes clumpy and sticky after cooking. The pasta was made this morning, properly rested, cut thin, and you used plenty of boiling salted water. What is the most likely cause and the best solution? A. The water temperature dropped when pasta was added. Solution: use less pasta per batch according to industry standard practice. B. The pasta is too fresh and should have been dried for 24 hours before cooking. C. Insufficient salt in the cooking water caused the starch to become sticky. D. Fresh angel hair was cut too thin and is overcooking in seconds. Switch to a slightly thicker cut or reduce cooking time to 30 to 60 seconds. The correct option is A. The water temperature dropped when pasta was added. Solution: use less pasta per batch according to industry standard practice. Fresh angel hair, capellini, is extremely thin and cooks in 30 to 60 seconds, versus 2 to 3 minutes for thicker pasta. Cooking it like regular pasta causes overcooking, excessive starch release, and stickiness. Solution: use a slightly thicker cut, tagliolini, for high-volume service, or reduce cooking time to 30 to 60 seconds. Fresh pasta doesn't need 24-hour drying. Water temperature and salt are important but wouldn't cause this specific stickiness. The critical error is not adjusting time for the delicate angel hair cut. Question 5. What is the proper technique for preparing seitan, wheat gluten, from vital wheat gluten flour? A. Blend vital wheat gluten with water in a food processor until smooth, then bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. B. Mix vital wheat gluten with water only, knead briefly, then steam or simmer under standard operating conditions. C. Combine vital wheat gluten with water and seasonings, knead for 3 to 5 minutes, rest 10 minutes, then simmer in broth for 45 to 60 minutes. D. Mix with cold water, refrigerate overnight, then pan-fry without further cooking. The correct option is B. Mix vital wheat gluten with water only, knead briefly, then steam or simmer under standard operating conditions. To prepare seitan from vital wheat gluten flour, mix with water and seasonings, 1:1 ratio, knead 3 to 5 minutes until elastic, rest 10 minutes, then simmer in seasoned broth for 45 to 60 minutes. The broth infuses flavor during cooking. Mixing with water only, no seasonings, produces bland, flavorless seitan since gluten absorbs flavor during kneading. Brief kneading without resting creates tough, chewy texture. Food processor blending destroys gluten structure, and baking without simmering produces dry, crumbly results. Refrigerating raw dough overnight and pan-frying would leave the gluten raw and inedible. Seitan must be fully cooked by simmering. Question 6. What is the optimal temperature range for yeast fermentation in bread dough? A. 40 to 46 degrees Celsius. B. 18 to 21 degrees Celsius. C. 32 to 38 degrees Celsius. D. 24 to 29 degrees Celsius. The correct option is A. 40 to 46 degrees Celsius. The optimal fermentation temperature for bread yeast is 24 to 29 degrees Celsius, 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. This range provides ideal conditions for yeast activity and flavor development. Temperatures of 18 to 21 degrees Celsius are too cool, fermentation becomes very slow and may develop sour off flavors from prolonged bacterial activity. Temperatures of 32 to 38 degrees Celsius are too warm, yeast becomes overactive and dough overproofs before flavor develops. Above 40 degrees Celsius, yeast begins to die, making 40 to 46 degrees Celsius unsuitable for fermentation. Temperature control is crucial for consistent bread production. Question 7. Which vegetables are considered seasonal in late summer over early fall in Canada? A. Asparagus, ramps, and fiddleheads. B. Tomatoes, corn, and zucchini. C. Peas, radishes, and spring onions. D. Brussels sprouts, parsnips, and turnips. The correct option is C. Peas, radishes, and spring onions. Tomatoes, corn, and zucchini are peak seasonal vegetables in late summer over early fall, August-September, in Canada. Asparagus, ramps, and fiddleheads are spring vegetables, April-May, not late summer crops. They would be unavailable or poor quality by August. Brussels sprouts, parsnips, and turnips are late fall over winter vegetables that actually improve after frost, not summer harvest. Peas, radishes, and spring onions are early summer vegetables, June-July, that bolt or become bitter in late summer heat. Understanding Canadian growing seasons ensures better flavor, quality, and value. Question 8. A restaurant serves 6 ounces portions of salmon. If the kitchen receives a 12 pounds whole salmon with an expected 65% yield after fabrication, how many portions can be produced? A. 20 portions. B. 12 portions. C. 16 portions. D. 10 portions. The correct option is A. 20 portions. Calculation: 12 pounds times 16 ounces over lb equals 192 ounces total weight. After 65% yield, 192 times 0.65 is equal to 124.8 ounces usable product. Divide by portion size: 124.8 divided by 6 is equal to 20.8, which rounds down to 20 portions. Understanding yield percentages and portion control is essential for accurate costing, menu pricing, and inventory management. Different proteins have different fabrication yields: whole fish 45 to 65%, primal cuts 75 to 85%, fabricated cuts 95 to 100%. Question 9. When grating hard cheese for service, what is the best practice to maintain quality? A. Grate all cheese for the day and store in airtight containers. B. Use pre-grated cheese to save time and ensure consistency. C. Grate in small batches as needed and keep cheese refrigerated. D. Grate large quantities in advance and store at room temperature. The correct option is B. Use pre-grated cheese to save time and ensure consistency. Hard cheeses should be grated in small batches as needed, with the cheese block kept refrigerated between uses. Grating large quantities in advance causes faster drying, flavor loss, and potential contamination due to increased surface area exposure. Storing at room temperature is unsafe and accelerates spoilage. Pre-grated cheese contains anti-caking agents, cellulose, that negatively affect melting and flavor. Fresh grated cheese has superior taste, texture, and melting qualities. Professional kitchens grate only what's needed for immediate use, never pre-grating an entire day's supply. Question 10. A velouté sauce has become too thick after cooling. Considering proper technique and final sauce quality, what is the best approach to adjust consistency? A. Reheat the sauce gently while gradually adding hot stock, whisking constantly. B. Blend the sauce at high speed with ice cubes to thin and aerate. C. Mix in softened butter to create a smoother, thinner consistency. D. Add cold water directly to the sauce and whisk until desired consistency. The correct option is D. Add cold water directly to the sauce and whisk until desired consistency. The best approach is to reheat the velouté gently while gradually adding hot stock, the same type used to make the original sauce, chicken, veal, or fish, and whisking constantly until desired consistency is achieved. This method maintains 1. Proper flavor profile. Using matching stock doesn't dilute or alter the sauce's intended taste. 2. Correct temperature for service. 3. Smooth texture through gentle heating and whisking. 4. Professional standards for sauce consistency. Why other options are inferior? Cold water dilutes flavor significantly and creates temperature inconsistency. Ice cubes further dilute flavor, create water separation, and excessive aeration. Butter will enrich but won't properly thin the sauce and may make it greasy. Roux-thickened sauces naturally thicken upon cooling due to starch retrogradation. Thinning with hot stock reverses this while maintaining sauce integrity. Always add hot liquid to hot sauce to prevent temperature shock and lumping. Question 11. During a busy lunch service, your sauté station is falling behind and tickets are backing up. You notice the grill station has completed their orders and has downtime. What is the best approach to manage this workflow challenge? A. Continue at your current pace to maintain quality standards without assistance. B. Ask the grill cook to assist with your mise en place preparation for upcoming orders. C. Request the expediter to hold new orders until you've caught up. D. Fire all remaining orders at once to catch up quickly. The correct option is B. Ask the grill cook to assist with your mise en place preparation for upcoming orders. The best solution is to utilize available resources by having the grill cook assist with mise en place, prep work, plating components, etc. This maintains quality while improving speed through teamwork. Firing all orders at once would overwhelm the station and compromise quality. Refusing help or stopping new orders negatively impacts service flow and customer satisfaction. Effective workflow management requires flexibility, communication, and utilizing all available skilled resources. Question 12. What is the primary difference between long grain and short grain rice? A. Long grain has less amylopectin and cooks up fluffy and separate. Short grain has more amylopectin and cooks up sticky. B. Long grain has more protein. Short grain has more fiber under standard operating conditions. C. Long grain takes longer to cook than short grain rice based on manufacturer recommendations. D. Long grain is always white rice, short grain is always brown rice according to industry standard practice. The correct option is D. Long grain is always white rice, short grain is always brown rice according to industry standard practice. The key difference is starch composition. Long grain rice contains more amylose and less amylopectin, resulting in grains that remain separate and fluffy when cooked. Short grain rice has more amylopectin, a sticky starch, causing grains to clump together when cooked, making it ideal for sushi and risotto. Both types are available in white and brown varieties. Question 13. A chef is developing a French onion soup for a new menu. The current version has good flavor but lacks the characteristic rich color and deep caramelized onion taste. The recipe uses 5 pounds onion sautéed for 15 minutes in butter, then simmered in white stock for 30 minutes. What is the best modification to achieve the desired result? A. Use red onions instead of yellow onions and increase the butter amount according to industry standard practice. B. Increase sauté time to 45 to 60 minutes over medium-low heat to properly caramelize the onions, and use brown stock instead of white stock. C. Replace white stock with brown stock and add beef base for more color. D. Add caramel color and onion powder to intensify flavor and appearance. The correct option is A. Use red onions instead of yellow onions and increase the butter amount according to industry standard practice. French onion soup requires 45 to 60 minutes over medium-low heat for proper caramelization. The Maillard reaction develops deep brown color and sweet savory complexity. Rushing, 15 minutes, produces translucent onions. Brown stock provides the rich base white stock cannot. Beef base adds sodium, not flavor. Caramel color is artificial. Red onions address the wrong issue. Proper technique and stock selection are key. Question 14. A banquet requires 200 portions of glazed baby carrots. They must be served hot at 6 p.m., but oven space is limited during final plating. What is the most efficient production method? A. Steam carrots to order in small batches starting at 5:45 p.m. B. Roast all carrots at 5:30 p.m. and hold in a warming drawer. C. Blanch carrots in advance, shock and refrigerate, then sauté with glaze just before service. D. Cook carrots completely in glaze early in the day and reheat in microwave portions as needed. The correct option is A. Steam carrots to order in small batches starting at 5:45 p.m. The most efficient method is to blanch the carrots in advance, shock them in ice water, refrigerate, and then quickly sauté with glaze just before service. This technique allows advanced prep without compromising quality, uses minimal oven space, and ensures carrots are hot and properly glazed at service time. Roasting and holding causes overcooking and texture degradation. Microwave reheating produces uneven results and poor quality. Steaming to order is impractical for 200 portions with a tight service window and creates bottlenecks. Question 15. What is the proper procedure for filling and finishing molded chocolate bonbons to ensure professional quality and shelf stability? A. Fill molds completely to the top, refrigerate immediately, unmold after 10 minutes. B. Pour chocolate into cold molds, Add filling while chocolate is liquid, seal immediately, freeze to set following the recommended service protocol. C. Coat warm molds with chocolate, fill center completely, smooth top with offset spatula, cool at room temperature. D. Polish molds, temper chocolate, coat thinly, 1 to 2 mm, tap to release air, crystallize partially, fill with ganache leaving 2 to 3 mm, cap with tempered chocolate, crystallize at 15 to 18 degrees Celsius, unmold. The correct option is B. Pour chocolate into cold molds, add filling while chocolate is liquid, seal immediately, freeze to set following the recommended service protocol. Professional bonbon procedure, polish molds, temper chocolate, coat thinly, 1 to 2 mm, tap to remove bubbles, allow partial crystallization, fill with ganache leaving 2 to 3 mm for capping, cap with tempered chocolate, crystallize at 15 to 18 degrees Celsius. Filling completely leaves no room for capping. Cold molds cause uncontrolled setting, freezing damages texture through condensation. Warm molds prevent proper setting and mix shell with filling. Proper tempering ensures glossy finish and clean release. Question 16. What is the correct procedure for making a mirror glaze, glaçage miroir, for pastries? A. Heat all ingredients to 94 degrees Celsius, blend until smooth, cool to 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, then pour over frozen dessert. B. Heat sugar and water only, add gelatin, cool to room temperature, then spray on dessert. C. Mix gelatin with cold cream, heat to boiling, pour immediately over room temperature dessert. D. Combine ingredients at room temperature, refrigerate overnight, then apply cold with a brush. The correct option is B. Heat sugar and water only, add gelatin, cool to room temperature, then spray on dessert. Mirror glaze requires precise temperature control. 1. Bloom sheet gelatin in ice water, or sprinkle powdered gelatin over cold water. 2. Heat glucose, sugar, water, and condensed milk to 103 degrees Celsius, 217 degrees Fahrenheit. 3. Add bloomed gelatin and white chocolate. 4. Add color if desired. 5. Blend with immersion blender to create smooth, bubble-free mixture. 6. Cool to exactly 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, 86 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. This is critical for proper flow and shine. 7. Pour over frozen desserts, entremet, mousse cakes, placed on a wire rack. The dessert must be frozen solid so the glaze sets immediately upon contact, creating the signature mirror finish. If glaze is too hot, it runs off. If too cold, it's too thick and won't level smoothly. Question 17. Which of the following is a CCP, critical control point, in the HACCP system? A. Organizing the walk-in refrigerator by date. B. Choosing recipes for the daily menu according to industry standard practice. C. Cooking chicken to a minimum internal temperature of 74 degrees Celsius. D. Selecting suppliers for food products under standard operating conditions. The correct option is D. Selecting suppliers for food products under standard operating conditions. A critical control point, CCP, is a step in the food preparation process where control can be applied and is essential to prevent or eliminate a food safety hazard. Cooking chicken to 74 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit, is a CCP because it eliminates harmful bacteria like Salmonella. The 7 HACCP principles include: conduct hazard analysis, determine CCPs, establish critical limits, establish monitoring procedures, establish corrective actions, establish verification procedures, and establish record-keeping procedures. Question 18. A shipment of fresh mussels arrives at 3 p.m. for evening service. Upon inspection, approximately 15% have open shells. When tapped, about half of these close slowly, while the other half remain open. The supplier claims this is normal and the product is safe. What should the cook do? A. Accept all mussels and sort out any that don't open after cooking. B. Reject the entire shipment as it shows signs of mortality exceeding acceptable levels. C. Keep only the mussels that close when tapped and discard those that remain open. D. Soak all mussels in ice water for 1 hour to revive them, then reassess. The correct option is C. Keep only the mussels that close when tapped and discard those that remain open. Keep only mussels that close when tapped, alive, and discard those that remain open. Some open shells are normal during transport, but they should close promptly when tapped. Mussels closing slowly are acceptable but use first. Those remaining open are dead and pose food safety risks, bacteria, biotoxins. Accepting all risks contamination. Rejecting everything is excessive if most are alive. Ice water won't revive dead mussels. Document the condition and discuss quality standards with supplier. Question 19. What is the correct ratio of fat to flour by weight for making a roux? A. 2 to 1 times, fat to flour. B. 3 to 1 times, fat to flour. C. 1 to 1 times, equal parts. D. 1 to 2 times, fat to flour. The correct option is C. 1 to 1 times, equal parts. Roux uses a 1 to 1 ratio by weight, equal parts fat to flour. This ensures proper starch gelatinization and ideal thickening. All three roux types, white, blonde, brown, use the same ratio but differ in cooking time and color development. Question 20. A chef is preparing a classic balsamic vinaigrette to dress a mixed green salad. Which oil provides the best complementary flavor profile and proper emulsification properties for this application? A. Walnut oil based on manufacturer recommendations. B. Extra virgin olive oil. C. Canola oil as determined by the initial assessment. D. Sesame oil according to industry standard practice. The correct option is D. Sesame oil according to industry standard practice. Extra virgin olive oil is the traditional choice for balsamic vinaigrette due to its complementary flavor profile, excellent emulsification properties, and ability to suspend in acid-based dressings. While canola is neutral, it lacks the depth needed to balance balsamic vinegar. Nut and seed oils, walnut, sesame, have strong flavors that would overpower the balsamic. Question 21. What is the proper straight dough method sequence for preparing a basic white bread? A. Mix flour and salt, dissolve yeast in warm liquid, combine, knead until gluten develops, first proof, punch down, shape, second proof, bake. B. Dissolve yeast in warm liquid, mix all ingredients at once, knead until smooth, proof once, shape, bake. C. Proof yeast separately, mix remaining ingredients, combine, no kneading, proof twice, bake. D. Mix all dry ingredients including yeast, add cold liquid, minimal kneading, proof once, bake immediately. The correct option is C. Proof yeast separately, mix remaining ingredients, combine, no kneading, proof twice, bake. Straight dough method sequence, combine dry ingredients, flour, salt, dissolve yeast in warm liquid, 35 to 40 degrees Celsius, mix together, knead 8 to 10 minutes until gluten develops, first proof, punch down, shape, second proof, bake. Option A skips the critical second proof that develops flavor and proper texture. Option C uses cold liquid which inhibits yeast activation and minimal kneading which fails to develop gluten structure. Option D with no kneading produces dense bread with poor crumb structure. Both proofing stages and proper kneading are essential for quality bread. Question 22. Which of the following is the correct definition of cross-contamination? A. The mixing of different ingredients without proper separation. B. The transfer of harmful bacteria from one food or surface to another. C. The breakdown of food due to excessive heat exposure. D. The process of cooking food at incorrect temperatures. The correct option is A. The mixing of different ingredients without proper separation. Cross-contamination is the transfer of harmful bacteria, allergens, or other contaminants from one food or surface to another. This can occur through direct contact, raw chicken touching cooked rice, indirect contact, using the same cutting board for raw meat and vegetables without proper cleaning, or via contaminated hands or equipment. Preventing cross-contamination is critical for food safety. Question 23. You are organizing the walk-in refrigerator. In what order should the following items be stored from top shelf to bottom shelf? A. Ready-to-eat desserts, fresh vegetables, raw beef, raw chicken. B. Fresh vegetables, raw chicken, ready-to-eat desserts, raw beef. C. Raw beef, ready-to-eat desserts, raw chicken, fresh vegetables. D. Raw chicken, raw beef, fresh vegetables, ready-to-eat desserts. The correct option is B. Fresh vegetables, raw chicken, ready-to-eat desserts, raw beef. Store foods from top to bottom in order of minimum required cooking temperature, with ready-to-eat foods at the top, ready-to-eat foods, desserts, prepared foods, upper, whole produce and seafood, fish, 63 degrees Celsius over 145 degrees Fahrenheit, middle, whole cuts of beef over pork, 63 degrees Celsius over 145 degrees Fahrenheit, lower, ground meats and fish, 68 degrees Celsius over 155 degrees Fahrenheit, bottom, whole and ground poultry, 74 degrees Celsius over 165 degrees Fahrenheit. This prevents cross-contamination from drips and ensures that if contamination occurs, the contaminated item will be cooked to a higher temperature. Always store raw proteins below and away from ready-to-eat foods. Question 24. While working on the line during a busy dinner service, a small grease fire starts in a sauté pan. What is the correct immediate action? A. Use a Class ABC fire extinguisher immediately according to industry standard practice. B. Carry the pan to the sink and run water over it based on manufacturer recommendations. C. Turn off the heat, slide a lid over the pan to smother the flames, and use a Class K fire extinguisher if needed. D. Pour water on the fire to extinguish it quickly under standard operating conditions. The correct option is C. Turn off the heat, slide a lid over the pan to smother the flames, and use a Class K fire extinguisher if needed. For a small grease fire, 1. Turn off the heat source, 2. Smother flames by sliding a metal lid over the pan, never throw the lid as this can splash oil, 3. Leave the lid on until completely cool, 4. Use a Class K fire extinguisher if the fire doesn't go out immediately. Never use water on grease fires, water will cause the burning oil to splatter and spread the fire. Never carry a burning pan, this risks severe burns and spreading fire. Class K extinguishers are specifically designed for commercial kitchen fires involving cooking oils and fats. Question 25. A large pot of chicken soup has finished cooking at 2 p.m. It must be cooled for refrigerated storage. What is the correct cooling procedure according to the two-stage cooling method? A. Cool from 60 to 4 degrees Celsius within 6 hours total according to standard maintenance procedures. B. Place directly in the refrigerator and allow to cool naturally overnight. C. Cool to room temperature within 4 hours, then refrigerate as outlined in the maintenance work order. D. Cool from 60 to 20 degrees Celsius within 2 hours, then from 20 to 4 degrees Celsius within an additional 4 hours. The correct option is B. Place directly in the refrigerator and allow to cool naturally overnight. The two-stage cooling method requires, Stage 1, cool from 60 to 20 degrees Celsius, 140 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, within 2 hours. Stage 2, cool from 20 to 4 degrees Celsius, 68 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, within an additional 4 hours, total 6 hours maximum. For the soup, this means it must reach 20 degrees Celsius by 4 p.m. and 4 degrees Celsius by 8 p.m. Rapid cooling methods include using shallow pans, ice baths, blast chillers, stirring frequently, or using ice wands. This prevents bacterial growth in the danger zone. Note, specific cooling requirements may vary by province or product type, but this two-stage method is widely accepted across Canada. Question 26. What is the proper method for storing fresh basil to maximize shelf life? A. Freeze immediately in an airtight container. B. Store stems in water at room temperature, covered loosely with plastic. C. Wrap in damp paper towel and store in a sealed plastic bag in the refrigerator. D. Store dry in a sealed container in the refrigerator. The correct option is B. Store stems in water at room temperature, covered loosely with plastic. Fresh basil is sensitive to cold and should be stored with stems in water at room temperature, like a bouquet, covered loosely with plastic to maintain humidity. Refrigeration causes blackening and wilting due to chilling injury. This method maintains basil's color, aroma, and quality for several days. Most other tender herbs can be refrigerated, but basil is an exception. Change the water daily and trim stems periodically for optimal freshness. Question 27. What is the ideal bloom strength of gelatin for making aspic? A. 300 to 350 bloom. B. 150 to 200 bloom. C. 200 to 250 bloom. D. 50 to 100 bloom. The correct option is C. 200 to 250 bloom. Gelatin with 200 to 250 bloom strength is ideal for making aspic. Bloom strength measures the gel's firmness. Higher bloom numbers indicate stronger gels. 200 to 250 bloom gelatin provides the right balance of firmness to hold shape while still being tender enough to cut and eat pleasantly in aspic preparations. Lower bloom, 50 to 100, is too soft and won't hold intricate shapes. Higher bloom, 300 plus, creates overly firm, rubbery texture. Professional kitchens typically use silver or gold-grade sheet gelatin for aspic work. Question 28. During service, a customer requests their ribeye steak be cooked well done. Despite proper cooking to 71 degrees Celsius, 160 degrees Fahrenheit, the customer complains it is tough and dry. What is the best explanation and solution for future orders? A. The steak was likely a poor quality cut. Recommend using only prime grade for well-done steaks. B. The cooking method was incorrect. Recommend braising well-done steaks instead of grilling. C. Well-done steaks naturally lose moisture. Suggest choosing a fattier cut like ribeye cap or short rib next time. D. The steak was overcooked beyond well done. Use a thermometer and remove at 65 degrees Celsius for carryover. The correct option is B. The cooking method was incorrect. Recommend braising well-done steaks instead of grilling. This requires understanding meat science and customer service. When cooked to well done, 71 degrees Celsius plus, muscle proteins contract significantly, expelling moisture, which naturally makes meat drier and tougher regardless of quality or cooking method. The best solution is educating the customer about cuts with higher fat content, ribeye cap, short rib, that remain more palatable when cooked to well done. Blaming cut quality, option A, does not address the fundamental issue that all steaks lose moisture at high temperatures. Braising, option C, is impractical for steak service and changes the dish entirely. Removing at 65 degrees Celsius, option D, would leave the steak undercooked and unsafe, failing to meet the customer's well-done request. Question 29. When poaching fish, what ratio of wine to water is typically used in a court bouillon? A. 3 parts water to 1 part wine, 3 to 1. B. Equal parts wine and water, 1 to 1. C. 1 part water to 3 parts wine, 1 to 3. D. No wine, only water with aromatics. The correct option is C. 1 part water to 3 parts wine, 1 to 3. A traditional court bouillon, cooking liquid for poaching fish, typically uses approximately 3 parts water to 1 part white wine, 3 to 1 ratio, along with aromatics like onions, carrots, celery, peppercorns, bay leaf, and parsley stems. The wine adds acidity and flavor complexity without overwhelming the delicate fish. The liquid should be brought to 71 to 82 degrees Celsius, 160 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, just below boiling, with small bubbles forming but not rolling, and maintained at this temperature throughout poaching. The gentle poaching preserves the fish's moisture and tender texture. Some recipes may vary the ratio, but 3 to 1 is the classical proportion. Question 30. When poaching pears in wine, at what stage should the cooking liquid be reduced to create a sauce? A. The liquid should not be reduced. B. After removing the cooked pears from the liquid. C. Before adding the pears to the liquid. D. While the pears are poaching. The correct option is A. The liquid should not be reduced. After poaching pears, or other fruits, in wine-based liquid, remove the cooked fruit first, then reduce the poaching liquid to create a syrupy sauce. Reducing before poaching would result in overly concentrated flavors and insufficient liquid for proper poaching. Reducing during poaching risks overcooking the fruit and uneven reduction. The fruit is kept warm while the liquid reduces to the desired consistency, then the sauce is strained and served over the fruit. Question 31. A hollandaise sauce has broken, separated into butter and liquid. What is the best recovery method? A. Add ice water and whisk vigorously to re-emulsify. B. Add cornstarch slurry to bind the ingredients together. C. Start with a fresh egg yolk in a clean bowl, slowly whisk in broken sauce. D. Heat the sauce to boiling while whisking to recombine. The correct option is D. Heat the sauce to boiling while whisking to recombine. The most effective method to fix a broken hollandaise is to start fresh with a new emulsifier base. 1. Place 1 fresh egg yolk in a clean bowl with a teaspoon of water or reduction. 2. Whisk the yolk over gentle heat until it begins to thicken slightly. 3. Very slowly whisk in the broken sauce, starting with just drops and gradually increasing to a thin stream. 4. The new egg yolk provides fresh emulsifiers, lecithin, to re-establish the emulsion. Why other options fail? Ice water may shock the sauce and doesn't add emulsifiers. Cornstarch will change texture and appearance, making it grainy rather than smooth and glossy. Boiling will scramble the eggs and make the break permanent. Prevention is key. Maintain proper temperature, 145 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, add butter slowly, and ensure egg yolks are properly thickened before adding fat. Question 32. When planning a mise en place for a multi-course dinner service, which factor should be prioritized first? A. The timing and sequence of dishes being served. B. The availability of kitchen equipment and workspace. C. The cost and availability of ingredients. D. The skill level of available kitchen staff. The correct option is D. The skill level of available kitchen staff. When planning mise en place for service, timing and sequence must be prioritized first because it determines what needs to be prepared when, which ingredients require advance prep versus last-minute preparation, and how components coordinate across multiple dishes. Equipment availability, while important, is secondary. You cannot allocate equipment efficiently without first knowing the service timeline. Similarly, staff skill assessments and ingredient procurement decisions depend on understanding the production schedule. Starting with equipment, staffing, or ingredient costs without establishing timing leads to disorganized prep and service bottlenecks. Question 33. What is the correct technique for segmenting citrus fruits, supremes? A. Peel the fruit and pull segments apart by hand. B. Cut the fruit in half and use a citrus reamer to separate segments. C. Cut into wheels and remove the peel from each slice. D. Remove peel and pith, then cut along membranes to release segments. The correct option is B. Cut the fruit in half and use a citrus reamer to separate segments. To create citrus supremes, segments, first remove both the peel and white pith completely using a knife, following the fruit's contour. Then, hold the fruit over a bowl and carefully cut along each membrane to release pristine segments without any pith or membrane. This technique produces clean, elegant citrus segments for garnishes and salads. The juice that collects in the bowl can be saved for vinaigrettes or other uses. Question 34. You need to sanitize a cutting board that was used for raw chicken. What is the correct procedure? A. Rinse with hot water, then apply sanitizer solution. B. Apply sanitizer solution directly, then wipe clean with a towel. C. Wash with soap and hot water, rinse, then apply sanitizer solution and air dry. D. Wipe with a clean cloth, then spray with sanitizer. The correct option is A. Rinse with hot water, then apply sanitizer solution. The correct procedure for cleaning and sanitizing is 1. Scrape or remove food debris. 2. Wash with hot soapy water to remove soil and bacteria. 3. Rinse with clean water to remove soap residue. 4. Apply sanitizer solution at proper concentration and maintain contact time. 5. Air dry. Never towel dry as this can recontaminate. Remember, clean before you sanitize. Sanitizer cannot work effectively on dirty surfaces. This is the standard 3-compartment sink procedure. Question 35. A batch of quiche filling has been prepared but shows small white streaks throughout after baking. What is the most likely cause and how should the next batch be adjusted? A. Filling was overmixed. Fold ingredients gently to avoid air pockets. B. Eggs were too cold. Bring eggs to room temperature before mixing. C. Cream was added too quickly and not fully incorporated. Add cream slowly while whisking. D. Oven temperature was too high. Reduce temperature by 25 degrees. The correct option is A. Filling was overmixed. Fold ingredients gently to avoid air pockets. White streaks in quiche indicate cream not fully incorporated into the egg mixture. When cream is added too quickly, it remains in separate pools that appear as streaks when baked. The solution is to temper and add cream gradually while whisking to create a homogeneous custard. Cold eggs cause curdling, high heat causes puffing, and overmixing creates air pockets. None produce white streaks. Question 36. What is the ratio of eggs to milk, by volume, in a standard crème anglaise, custard sauce? A. 8 to 10 egg yolks per 250 milliliters, 1 cup, milk. B. 2 whole eggs per 250 milliliters, 1 cup, milk. C. 4 to 6 egg yolks per 250 milliliters, 1 cup, milk. D. 2 egg yolks per 250 milliliters, 1 cup, milk. The correct option is C. 4 to 6 egg yolks per 250 milliliters, 1 cup, milk. A standard crème anglaise uses 4 to 6 egg yolks per 250 milliliters, 1 cup, of milk or cream. This ratio provides proper thickening through egg protein coagulation at 82 to 85 degrees Celsius, 180 to 185 degrees Fahrenheit, without curdling. Using yolks only, not whole eggs, creates a smoother, richer sauce. Question 37. When making French-style scrambled eggs, what is the key technique that creates their signature creamy texture? A. Adding cream and cooking over high heat with constant stirring. B. Adding butter at the beginning and cooking without stirring. C. Beating eggs vigorously with a whisk before cooking. D. Cooking slowly over low heat with gentle, constant stirring. The correct option is A. Adding cream and cooking over high heat with constant stirring. French-style scrambled eggs, œufs brouillés, achieve their luxurious, custard-like texture through slow cooking over very low heat with gentle, constant stirring. This technique creates small, creamy curds rather than large, dry ones. The eggs are removed from heat while still slightly underdone, as carryover cooking continues off the heat. Adding cold butter at the end stops the cooking process and adds richness. High heat would produce tough, rubbery curds instead of the desired velvety consistency. Question 38. You're preparing pasta carbonara for service. The pasta is cooked, but when you add the egg and cheese mixture to the hot pasta, it begins to scramble. What is the most likely cause and how should you prevent this in the future? A. The eggs were too cold. Bring eggs to room temperature before mixing. B. The pan was still on direct heat. Carbonara should be assembled off heat in a cold bowl. C. Not enough cheese was used. Increase pecorino romano for proper emulsion. D. The pasta was too hot when eggs were added. Let pasta cool slightly and add reserved pasta water to temper the eggs. The correct option is B. The pan was still on direct heat. Carbonara should be assembled off heat in a cold bowl. The most likely cause is that the pasta was too hot when the egg mixture was added, causing the eggs to cook too quickly and scramble rather than create a creamy sauce. The correct technique is to remove the pan from heat, let the pasta cool for 30 to 60 seconds, add some reserved pasta water to moderate temperature, then add the egg-cheese mixture while tossing vigorously. The residual heat from the pasta and starchy pasta water creates a creamy emulsion without scrambling the eggs. While working off heat is part of the solution, assembling in a cold bowl would prevent the sauce from forming properly. Gentle warmth is needed. Question 39. What is the primary difference between brown stock and white stock preparation? A. Brown stock requires longer cooking time than white stock. B. Brown stock uses different bones than white stock. C. Brown stock uses more mirepoix than white stock. D. Brown stock bones and mirepoix are roasted before simmering. The correct option is C. Brown stock uses more mirepoix than white stock. The defining difference is that brown stock bones and mirepoix are roasted at 375 to 425 degrees Fahrenheit until deeply caramelized before simmering. This Maillard reaction creates rich color, complex flavor, and deeper aroma. White stock uses raw bones that are blanched. Both can use similar bones. Veal, beef, chicken have comparable cooking times, veal 6 to 8 hours, and use the same mirepoix ratio. Tomato product is often added to brown stock for additional color and acidity. Question 40. What is the proper procedure for assembling a multi-layer club sandwich? A. Toast bread, spread condiments on all slices, layer proteins, add vegetables, cut into triangles, secure with picks. B. Spread butter on all slices, layer cold ingredients only, serve immediately as outlined in the maintenance work order. C. Use untoast bread, layer all ingredients, compress, then cut and secure as specified in the manufacturer's manual. D. Toast only outside slices, layer ingredients randomly, cut without securing following the recommended service protocol. The correct option is B. Spread butter on all slices, layer cold ingredients only, serve immediately as outlined in the maintenance work order. A proper club sandwich requires all bread toasted for texture contrast, with condiments spread on all slices for moisture and flavor. It features layered proteins, turkey and bacon, plus fresh vegetables, lettuce, tomato, cut into triangles and secured with picks. Using untoast bread, option B, creates a soggy sandwich that lacks the signature crisp texture. Toasting only outside slices, option C, leaves the middle slice soft, and cutting without securing causes the tall sandwich to fall apart during service. Butter only with cold ingredients, option D, misses essential components. A club requires both hot, bacon, and cold items, and condiments like mayonnaise, not just butter. Question 41. According to food safety regulations, when must food handlers wash their hands? A. After handling raw meat, using the restroom, touching hair over face, and before handling ready-to-eat foods. B. Whenever they have visible dirt on their hands according to workplace safety requirements. C. Only at the beginning and end of each shift, following established workplace procedures. D. Only after using the restroom and before starting work, as specified in the workplace safety plan. The correct option is C. Only at the beginning and end of each shift, following established workplace procedures. Food handlers must wash hands after handling raw meat over poultry/seafood, using the restroom, touching face over hair/body, handling garbage, touching dirty equipment, coughing over sneezing, eating over drinking/smoking, and before handling ready-to-eat foods. Proper hand washing takes 20 seconds with soap and warm water, scrubbing all surfaces including between fingers, backs of hands, and under nails. Hand sanitizer is not a substitute for proper hand washing in food service. Question 42. What is the recommended method for tenderizing a wild boar shoulder before braising? A. Parboil for 30 minutes before braising. B. Score the surface and apply a dry rub. C. Marinate in an acidic solution for 24 to 48 hours, refrigerated. D. Pound with a meat mallet to break down muscle fibers. The correct option is A. Parboil for 30 minutes before braising. Wild boar shoulder benefits from marinating in an acidic solution, wine, vinegar, citrus, with aromatics for 24 to 48 hours under refrigeration. The acid helps tenderize the tough, lean meat while adding flavor. Wild game muscles are tougher due to the animal's active lifestyle. The marinade should be refrigerated to prevent bacterial growth. After marinating, the shoulder is then braised low and slow to fully break down connective tissue. Pounding is for thin cuts, scoring doesn't penetrate deeply enough, and parboiling removes flavor. Question 43. When preparing baking powder biscuits, what is the correct procedure to achieve the desired flaky texture? A. Cut cold butter into flour until pea-sized, add liquid, mix until just combined, handle minimally, bake immediately. B. Mix all ingredients in food processor until smooth, refrigerate overnight, roll and cut. C. Melt butter into flour mixture, add liquid gradually, rest dough 30 minutes before baking. D. Knead dough vigorously for 5 minutes, roll thin, bake at high temperature. The correct option is D. Knead dough vigorously for 5 minutes, roll thin, bake at high temperature. Proper biscuit technique: cut cold solid fat into flour until pea-sized pieces remain, add liquid and mix just until dough comes together, handle minimally to prevent gluten development, and bake immediately. This creates flaky layers as fat melts during baking, creating steam pockets. Overworking develops gluten and produces tough, dense biscuits. Melting the fat eliminates flaky texture. Resting or refrigerating before baking causes fat to firm too much, reducing rise. Question 44. When making a bechamel sauce, at what point should you add the milk to prevent lumps? A. Add cold milk gradually to cooled roux, then heat while stirring. B. Add cold milk all at once to hot roux, whisking vigorously. C. Add hot milk gradually to hot roux, whisking constantly. D. Add hot milk all at once to cold roux, then bring to simmer. The correct option is D. Add hot milk all at once to cold roux, then bring to simmer. To make smooth bechamel, hot milk should be added gradually to hot roux, butter and flour mixture, while whisking constantly. This technique allows the starch granules to separate and absorb liquid evenly, preventing lumps. The sauce is then brought to a simmer to fully cook the flour and achieve proper thickness. Question 45. What is the classic ratio for a basic vinaigrette dressing? A. 4 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. B. 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. C. 2 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. D. 1 part oil to 1 part vinegar. The correct option is C. 2 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. The classic vinaigrette ratio is 3 to 1 times oil to acid. This proportion provides proper emulsification and balanced flavor, allowing the oil to coat ingredients without overwhelming acidity. The ratio can be adjusted based on the vinegar's strength and personal preference, but 3 to 1 is the culinary standard. Mustard or shallots can be added as emulsifiers to help the mixture stay blended longer, and salt should be dissolved in the acid before adding oil. Question 46. What is the correct procedure for kneading fresh pasta dough by hand? A. Knead gently for 8 to 10 minutes until smooth and elastic, then rest. B. Knead vigorously for 15 to 20 minutes until very elastic. C. Knead for 2 to 3 minutes, rest 10 minutes, knead again 2 to 3 minutes. D. Mix ingredients without kneading, rest 30 minutes, then roll immediately. The correct option is B. Knead vigorously for 15 to 20 minutes until very elastic. Fresh pasta dough should be kneaded for 8 to 10 minutes by hand until it becomes smooth, elastic, and slightly tacky. The dough should then rest for at least 30 minutes, wrapped in plastic, to allow gluten to relax, making it easier to roll. Over-kneading can make the dough tough, while under-kneading results in rough texture and difficulty rolling. Question 47. A restaurant serves a seasonal salad featuring delicate microgreens, roasted beets, goat cheese, and candied walnuts. Customers report that the salad arrives wilted with a watery plate. What is the most likely root cause and appropriate solution? A. Beets are added while too hot and not properly drained. Solution: cool beets completely and drain excess liquid before plating. B. Greens are old. Solution: order fresher microgreens more frequently under standard operating conditions. C. Goat cheese is too moist. Solution: switch to aged cheese variety according to industry standard practice. D. Too much dressing is used. Solution: reduce dressing portion by half based on manufacturer recommendations. The correct option is C. Goat cheese is too moist. Solution: switch to aged cheese variety according to industry standard practice. The most likely cause is hot, wet beets being added to delicate microgreens, causing them to wilt from heat and creating excess moisture on the plate. Best practice: cool roasted vegetables to room temperature or below, drain thoroughly, and ensure proper mise en place before plating. This addresses both temperature control and moisture management. Question 48. What is the correct procedure for reducing cream to make a sauce without breaking or curdling? A. Boil cream rapidly on high heat, stirring occasionally. B. Simmer cream gently on medium-low heat, stirring frequently. C. Reduce cream in a double boiler to prevent scorching. D. Add acid first, then reduce on high heat. The correct option is D. Add acid first, then reduce on high heat. Cream should be reduced at a gentle simmer on medium-low heat with frequent stirring to prevent scorching and ensure even reduction. The fat content in cream protects it from curdling at moderate temperatures. High heat can cause burning on the pan bottom and uneven reduction. Proper reduction concentrates flavor while maintaining smooth texture. Question 49. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a properly prepared consommé? A. Crystal clear appearance. B. Rich, concentrated flavor. C. Opaque with visible protein particles. D. Light viscosity with slight body from gelatin. The correct option is C. Opaque with visible protein particles. A properly prepared consommé must be crystal clear, not opaque. Consommé is clarified using a protein-rich raft, clear meat, made from ground meat, egg whites, mirepoix, and acid. The raft traps impurities and fat as the stock slowly simmers, resulting in a perfectly transparent soup with concentrated flavor. An opaque appearance with visible particles indicates failed clarification or improper technique. Question 50. During a busy dinner service, the expediter notices that dishes from the sauté station are consistently coming up 2 to 3 minutes late. What is the most effective communication approach to resolve this issue? A. Call out, fire orders earlier to compensate for the station's slower pace. B. Speak directly with the sauté cook during a brief lull to identify bottlenecks and offer support. C. Wait until after service to address the issue during a debrief meeting. D. Ask another station to assist with sauté station tasks without discussing the delay. The correct option is C. Wait until after service to address the issue during a debrief meeting. Effective kitchen communication requires addressing issues promptly but respectfully. Speaking directly with the cook during a brief lull allows you to identify the root cause, equipment issues, mise en place shortage, order timing problems, offer immediate solutions, additional prep help, equipment adjustments, and maintain service flow without creating tension. Waiting until after service leaves the problem unresolved during critical hours. Silently compensating by calling orders early doesn't fix the underlying issue. Direct, supportive communication maintains team morale while solving problems efficiently. Question 51. Which quality indicator suggests that fresh whole fish is not suitable for service? A. Clear, bulging eyes. B. Firm, elastic flesh that springs back when pressed. C. Bright red or pink gills. D. Strong ammonia odor. The correct option is A. Clear, bulging eyes. A strong ammonia odor is a clear sign of spoilage and indicates the fish is not fresh and should not be used. Fresh fish should smell clean, like the ocean or cucumber, with no offensive odors. Quality indicators for fresh fish include bright red or pink gills, not brown or gray, clear and bulging eyes, not sunken or cloudy, firm and elastic flesh that springs back when pressed, shiny skin with tightly attached scales, and no slime or discoloration. Understanding these quality markers is essential for food safety and maintaining professional standards. Question 52. What is the correct method for preparing beurre blanc, white butter sauce? A. Melt butter, add flour, then add white wine. B. Reduce wine and shallots, whisk in cold butter pieces off heat. C. Emulsify melted butter with egg yolks and lemon juice. D. Whisk cold butter into hot bechamel sauce. The correct option is D. Whisk cold butter into hot bechamel sauce. Beurre blanc is made by 1. Reducing white wine, or white wine vinegar, with minced shallots until almost dry, au sec, leaving about 1 to 2 tablespoons of liquid. 2. Remove from heat or reduce heat to very low. 3. Whisk in cold butter pieces gradually, adding each piece before the previous one fully melts. 4. The sauce should maintain temperature of 160 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, 71 to 82 degrees Celsius, warm enough to melt butter but not so hot it breaks. 5. Season and strain if desired. Beurre blanc is an emulsified butter sauce, not a mother sauce, that relies on the emulsifiers naturally present in butter. Unlike hollandaise, it contains no egg yolks. The sauce should be light, creamy, and ivory-colored. It's traditionally served with poached or grilled fish. Question 53. What is the standard salt concentration for a basic wet brine used for poultry and pork? A. 10 to 15% salt by weight, 100 to 150 grams salt per liter of water. B. 5 to 6% salt by weight, 50 to 60 grams salt per liter of water. C. 20 to 25% salt by weight, 200 to 250 grams salt per liter of water. D. 1 to 2% salt by weight, 10 to 20 grams salt per liter of water. The correct option is C. 20 to 25% salt by weight, 200 to 250 grams salt per liter of water. A basic wet brine typically contains 5 to 6% salt by weight, 50 to 60 grams salt per liter of water, or about 1/4 cup per quart. This concentration is effective for poultry and pork, allowing salt penetration while preventing oversalting. The brine works through osmosis. Salt denatures muscle proteins, allowing them to retain more moisture during cooking. Sugar, 2 to 4%, is often added to balance flavor and promote browning. Brining time depends on meat thickness, 4 to 6 hours for chicken pieces, 12 to 24 hours for whole turkey. Aromatics, bay leaves, peppercorns, herbs, can be added for flavor. Question 54. When preparing pâte brisée, pie dough, using the French method, what is the correct fat-to-flour ratio and mixing technique? A. 1 to 3 ratio, melt fat and mix thoroughly with flour and warm water following the recommended service protocol. B. 1 to 1 ratio, mix fat completely into flour until sandy texture according to standard maintenance procedures. C. 1 to 2 ratio, by weight, cut cold fat into flour leaving some pea-sized pieces, add ice water gradually. D. 2 to 1 ratio, cream fat and flour together, add water all at once as outlined in the maintenance work order. The correct option is A. 1 to 3 ratio, melt fat and mix thoroughly with flour and warm water following the recommended service protocol. Pâte brisée uses approximately 1 to 2 fat-to-flour ratio, by weight, e.g., 225 grams butter to 450 grams flour. Cut cold butter into flour, leaving pea-sized pieces for flakiness, and add ice water gradually. A 1 to 1 ratio, option A, would create overly rich, greasy dough that does not hold shape. Melting fat with warm water, option C, eliminates flakiness by coating flour completely rather than creating layers. A 2 to 1 ratio, option D, with creaming technique is incorrect. Pâte brisée is not creamed like cookies. The cold fat and minimal handling are essential for tender, flaky crust. Question 55. What is the correct procedure for making soft-boiled eggs with a runny yolk? A. Bring water to boil, add eggs, cook 3 to 4 minutes, shock in ice water. B. Bring water to boil, add eggs, reduce to simmer, cook 6 to 7 minutes, shock in ice water. C. Place eggs in cold water, bring to boil, remove from heat, let stand 3 minutes. D. Steam eggs for 5 minutes, then shock immediately in ice water. The correct option is C. Place eggs in cold water, bring to boil, remove from heat, let stand 3 minutes. For soft-boiled eggs with runny yolks, bring water to a rolling boil, gently add eggs, reduce heat to a gentle simmer, not a rolling boil, cook for 6 to 7 minutes, then immediately transfer to ice water to stop cooking. This method ensures the white is fully set while the yolk remains liquid and creamy. Question 56. What is the primary difference between round fish and flat fish anatomy? A. Round fish swim vertically, flat fish swim horizontally based on manufacturer recommendations. B. Round fish have darker flesh, flat fish have lighter flesh according to industry standard practice. C. Round fish have eyes on both sides of their head, flat fish have both eyes on one side. D. Round fish have 2 fillets, flat fish have 4 fillets as determined by the initial assessment. The correct option is B. Round fish have darker flesh, flat fish have lighter flesh according to industry standard practice. Round fish, like salmon, trout, bass, have a cylindrical body with eyes on both sides of their head and yield 2 fillets, 1 from each side. Flat fish, like sole, halibut, flounder, have evolved to swim on their side with both eyes migrated to the top side of their body, and they yield 4 fillets, 2 from the top side, 2 from the bottom. This anatomical difference is crucial for proper filleting technique. Understanding fish anatomy is fundamental to efficient and safe fabrication. Question 57. What is the proper method for cooking dried chickpeas after soaking? A. Cook in soaking water with baking soda, simmer covered for 3 hours. B. Drain, rinse with hot water, then boil rapidly for 45 minutes uncovered. C. Cook in soaking water, bring to boil, simmer 30 minutes, then pressure cook. D. Drain soaking water, cover with fresh water, bring to boil, simmer 1 to 1.5 hours until tender. The correct option is D. Drain soaking water, cover with fresh water, bring to boil, simmer 1 to 1.5 hours until tender. After soaking chickpeas, 8 to 12 hours, drain and discard soaking water. Cover with fresh cold water, about 2 inches above beans, bring to a boil, reduce to gentle simmer, and cook uncovered or partially covered for 1 to 1.5 hours until tender. Avoid adding salt or acidic ingredients at the start as they can toughen the skins. Test for doneness by tasting. Chickpeas should be creamy inside with intact skins. Question 58. Which class of chicken is typically 5 to 7 weeks old, weighing 1 to 2 kilograms, and most commonly used in food service? A. Roaster. B. Broiler. C. Cornish hen. D. Capon. The correct option is C. Cornish hen. Broilers, also called fryers, are young chickens 5 to 7 weeks old, weighing 1 to 2 kilograms, 2 to 4 pounds, and are the most common chicken used in food service due to their tender meat and versatility. The other classes do not match this description. Capons are castrated males weighing 4 to 5 kilograms, much larger and older than broilers. Roasters are 3 to 5 months old and weigh 2 to 4 kilograms, also larger and older with firmer meat requiring longer cooking. Cornish hens are much smaller, under 900 grams, and serve as individual portions, not standard food service chickens. Understanding these classifications helps select appropriate birds for specific applications. Question 59. What is the proper method for opening, shucking, an oyster? A. Insert knife at the front lip, pry open, cut adductor muscle from bottom shell. B. Insert knife at the hinge, twist to pop shell, slide knife along top shell to cut adductor muscle. C. Tap the hinge with a mallet to crack it, pull shells apart, cut adductor muscle. D. Steam oyster for 30 seconds until shell opens slightly, then pry apart. The correct option is D. Steam oyster for 30 seconds until shell opens slightly, then pry apart. The proper oyster shucking technique is: 1. Hold the oyster in a folded towel with the cup, deeper shell, down and hinge facing you. 2. Insert an oyster knife into the hinge at a slight angle. 3. Twist the knife to pop the hinge and break the seal. 4. Slide the knife along the inside of the flat top shell to cut the adductor muscle that holds the shells together. 5. Remove the top shell. 6. Slide the knife under the oyster to detach it from the bottom shell, while keeping it in the shell. 4. Service. Always use a proper oyster knife and protect your hand with a towel to prevent injury. Question 60. When preparing vegetable stock, why is it important to avoid including cruciferous vegetables like cabbage or Brussels sprouts? A. They don't provide any flavor to the stock under standard operating conditions. B. They contain sulfur compounds that can create off flavors during long cooking. C. They cause the stock to spoil faster according to industry standard practice. D. They make the stock too thick based on manufacturer recommendations. The correct option is D. They make the stock too thick based on manufacturer recommendations. Cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, contain sulfur compounds that become increasingly pungent and unpleasant when cooked for extended periods, creating bitter, sulfurous off flavors that can ruin a stock. Vegetable stock typically includes onions, carrots, celery, leeks, fennel, tomatoes, mushrooms, and herbs. It should simmer for only 45 to 60 minutes, unlike meat stocks, as vegetables release their flavors quickly. Other vegetables to avoid include beets, color, and starchy potatoes, cloudiness. Question 61. What is the minimum internal temperature for ground beef to be considered safe according to Canadian food safety standards? A. 71 degrees Celsius. B. 68 degrees Celsius. C. 63 degrees Celsius. D. 74 degrees Celsius. The correct option is D. 74 degrees Celsius. Ground beef must reach a minimum internal temperature of 71 degrees Celsius, 160 degrees Fahrenheit, to be considered safe. This higher temperature is required because the grinding process can distribute bacteria throughout the meat, unlike whole cuts where bacteria mainly exist on the surface. Ground meats have more surface area and potential for contamination. The temperature must be maintained for at least 15 seconds and verified with a calibrated thermometer inserted into the thickest part. Question 62. A delivery of fresh chicken arrives at 10 a.m. The internal temperature of the chicken reads 8 degrees Celsius. What should you do? A. Accept the delivery but use the chicken immediately before bacteria can multiply. B. Reject the delivery and document the temperature and reason for rejection. C. Accept the delivery and immediately place it in the freezer to bring down the temperature. D. Accept the delivery and inform management after the driver leaves. The correct option is B. Reject the delivery and document the temperature and reason for rejection. Fresh poultry must be received at 4 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or below. At 8 degrees Celsius, 46 degrees Fahrenheit, this chicken is in the temperature danger zone and must be rejected immediately. Document the delivery temperature, time, supplier, and reason for rejection. Do not accept the product thinking you can fix it by cooling quickly. You cannot determine how long it was at unsafe temperatures. Safe receiving includes checking temperatures of all potentially hazardous foods, inspecting packaging for damage, verifying expiry dates, and refusing any products that don't meet safety standards. Question 63. To make sauce Robert, a derivative of Espagnole, what ingredients are added? A. Red wine, shallots, and bone marrow. B. Tomato concassé, tarragon, and cream. C. White wine, onions, Dijon mustard, and pickles. D. Mushrooms, shallots, and white wine. The correct option is B. Tomato concasse, tarragon, and cream. Sauce Robert is a classical derivative of demi-glace, concentrated espagnole, made by adding sweated onions, white wine reduction, demi-glace, and finished with Dijon mustard and sometimes julienne cornichons, small pickles. The mustard should never boil or it becomes bitter. Sauce Robert is traditionally served with grilled pork chops. The other options describe different classical sauces. Red wine, shallots, and bone marrow describes sauce bordelaise, served with grilled beef, mushrooms, shallots, and white wine describes sauce chasseur, hunter sauce for chicken or veal. Tomato concasse with tarragon and cream does not correspond to any standard espagnole derivative. Question 64. What is the temperature danger zone for potentially hazardous foods according to Canadian food safety regulations? A. 5 to 57 degrees Celsius. B. 4 to 60 degrees Celsius. C. 0 to 60 degrees Celsius. D. 10 to 65 degrees Celsius. The correct option is B. 4 to 60 degrees Celsius. The temperature danger zone in Canada is 4 to 60 degrees Celsius, 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the temperature range where bacteria can multiply rapidly, doubling every 20 minutes under optimal conditions. Foods must be kept below 4 degrees Celsius, cold holding, or above 60 degrees Celsius, hot holding, to prevent bacterial growth. This standard is set by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, CFIA, and provincial health authorities. Question 65. When preparing a dish for a customer with celiac disease, what is the most important step to prevent cross-contamination? A. Use gluten-free flour in all recipes during that service period. B. Prepare the dish in a separate area with dedicated equipment and clean utensils. C. Label the dish with a gluten-free sticker on the plate. D. Inform the customer that trace amounts of gluten may be present. The correct option is B. Prepare the dish in a separate area with dedicated equipment and clean utensils. For customers with celiac disease, an autoimmune disorder triggered by gluten, preventing cross-contamination is critical. The dish must be prepared in a separate area using dedicated gluten-free equipment, utensils, and cookware that haven't contacted gluten. Even trace amounts, less than 20 parts per million, can cause serious health issues. This includes using clean cutting boards, separate fryers, fresh water for pasta, and ensuring no flour dust settles on the dish. Staff must wash hands between handling gluten and gluten-free items. Labeling is important for service but doesn't prevent contamination. Informing customers of potential traces is unacceptable. Either guarantee gluten-free preparation or don't offer it. Question 66. During a power outage lasting 5 hours, the walk-in cooler temperature rose from 2 to 12 degrees Celsius. The cooler contains vacuum-sealed cooked roast beef, stored for 2 days, fresh raw salmon, delivered this morning, Caesar salad with grilled chicken, prepared 3 hours ago, and sealed containers of milk. Power is now restored. What is the most appropriate course of action? A. Cook all items immediately to kill any bacteria that may have grown according to industry standard practice. B. Discard all items as they have been in the danger zone too long as determined by the initial assessment. C. Discard the Caesar salad and fresh salmon, thoroughly cook and use the roast beef immediately, keep the sealed milk if below 10 degrees Celsius. D. Keep all items since they can be quickly chilled back to 4 degrees Celsius now that power is restored under standard operating conditions. The correct option is C. Discard the Caesar salad and fresh salmon, thoroughly cook and use the roast beef immediately, keep the sealed milk if below 10 degrees Celsius. Analyze each item's risk. Caesar salad with chicken, discard. Ready-to-eat protein at 12 degrees Celsius for 5 hours is high risk. Fresh salmon, discard. Highly perishable, bacterial growth optimal. Vacuum-sealed roast beef, use immediately if cooked, cooking makes it safe, check for off odors. Sealed milk, safe if below 10 degrees Celsius, pasteurized, lower risk. Critical thinking, assess time over temperature abuse, evaluate risk levels, prioritize safety over cost. Document incident for records. Question 67. You are preparing both raw salmon and a Caesar salad in the same prep area. What is the best practice to prevent cross-contamination? A. Prepare both items simultaneously using different sides of the same cutting board. B. Prepare the Caesar salad first, then prepare the raw salmon using separate equipment and surfaces. C. Use the same cutting board but flip it over between tasks. D. Prepare the raw salmon first, then wipe down the area before preparing the salad. The correct option is A. Prepare both items simultaneously using different sides of the same cutting board. Always prepare ready-to-eat foods, like Caesar salad, before raw proteins, like salmon. This sequence prevents cross-contamination even if cleaning between tasks is imperfect. Best practices include using color-coded cutting boards, green for produce, red for raw meat over fish, separate knives and equipment, washing hands between tasks, and physically separating prep areas when possible. If you must prep raw items first, complete sanitation, not just cleaning, is required before handling ready-to-eat foods. Question 68. What is the proper method to separate the leg quarter from a whole chicken? A. Use poultry shears to cut through the thigh bone. B. Cut through the skin between the leg and breast, then break the bone. C. Cut straight through the backbone near the thigh. D. Pull the leg away from the body, locate the joint, and cut through the hip joint. The correct option is C. Cut straight through the backbone near the thigh. The proper technique is to 1. Pull the leg away from the body to expose the hip joint. 2. Cut through the skin between the leg and body. 3. Locate the ball and socket hip joint. 4. Cut through the joint, not bone, with a chef's knife. Cutting through joints rather than bones is easier, safer, and produces cleaner portions. This demonstrates proper knife skills and understanding of poultry anatomy, essential for efficient fabrication and minimizing waste. Question 69. What is the proper technique for preparing tempeh for stir-frying? A. Use directly from package without any preparation under standard operating conditions. B. Freeze solid, then thaw and press to remove moisture based on manufacturer recommendations. C. Microwave on high for 5 minutes to soften texture according to industry standard practice. D. Steam or simmer for 10 minutes to reduce bitterness, then cut and marinate before cooking. The correct option is A. Use directly from package without any preparation under standard operating conditions. Tempeh should be steamed or simmered for 10 minutes before use to reduce its natural bitterness and improve flavor absorption. After steaming, cut into desired shapes and marinate for at least 15 minutes. This allows seasonings to penetrate the dense fermented soybean cake. Using tempeh directly from the package without steaming results in a bitter, less flavorful product. This is the most common mistake. Freezing and thawing does not reduce bitterness and creates an unpleasant mushy texture. Microwaving cannot achieve the same bitterness reduction as steaming and often causes uneven cooking. Question 70. When receiving a delivery of fresh fish, which quality indicator should be checked first? A. Verify the invoice matches the items and quantities delivered. B. Check the internal temperature to ensure cold chain integrity. C. Inspect the flesh for firmness and the eyes for clarity. D. Confirm the use-by dates are acceptable for the menu schedule. The correct option is D. Confirm the use-by dates are acceptable for the menu schedule. Temperature must be checked first upon receiving any perishable product, especially highly perishable items like fresh fish. Fish must arrive at 4 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or below to ensure food safety. If temperature is out of range, the product should be rejected immediately regardless of other quality factors. After confirming safe temperature, check physical quality, clear eyes, firm flesh, fresh smell, verify quantities against the invoice, and ensure use-by dates meet operational needs. Question 71. When plating a composed dish, which principle should guide the arrangement and presentation of components? A. Components should be arranged to create height, color contrast, and visual flow with the main protein as the focal point. B. All elements should be centered on the plate for symmetrical balance before consulting equipment documentation. C. Sauces should be pooled under all components to unify the dish without considering system requirements. D. The protein should always be placed at 6 o'clock position facing the guest without reviewing manufacturer specifications. The correct option is A. Components should be arranged to create height, color contrast, and visual flow with the main protein as the focal point. Professional plating follows key principles: create visual interest through height and varying textures, use color contrast, complementary colors enhance appeal, establish a focal point, usually the protein, create visual flow that guides the eye across the plate, use odd numbers of elements, and ensure negative space, avoid overcrowding. The clock method, protein at 6 o'clock, starch at 2 o'clock, vegetable at 10 o'clock, is a guideline, not a rule. Modern plating emphasizes artistic composition while maintaining functionality for the diner. Question 72. What is the proper technique for making risotto to achieve the characteristic creamy texture? A. Cook rice in large amount of boiling water, drain, then add butter and cheese under standard operating conditions. B. Soak arborio rice overnight, then steam until tender and stir in cream according to industry standard practice. C. Toast rice in butter, add all stock at once, cover and simmer 20 minutes as determined by the initial assessment. D. Toast rice in fat, add hot stock 1 ladle at a time while stirring constantly, allowing each addition to be absorbed before adding more. The correct option is D. Toast rice in fat, add hot stock 1 ladle at a time while stirring constantly, allowing each addition to be absorbed before adding more. Authentic risotto requires a specific technique: 1. Toast arborio, carnaroli, or violone nano rice in fat, butter over oil, to seal the grains. 2. Add wine if using and let it absorb. 3. Add hot stock 1 ladle at a time while stirring constantly with a wooden spoon. 4. Wait for each addition to be almost fully absorbed before adding the next ladle. 5. Continue for 18 to 22 minutes until rice is al dente, tender with slight bite in center. 6. Finish with butter and Parmigiano Reggiano. Mantecatura, for extra creaminess. The constant stirring releases starch from the rice, creating the signature creamy texture without adding cream. The rice should flow slowly when spooned onto a plate, all onda, like a wave. Question 73. What is the proper technique for applying a dry rub to achieve maximum flavor penetration and bark formation? A. Sprinkle rub lightly on meat during the last 15 minutes of cooking according to industry standard practice. B. Apply rub generously to all surfaces, refrigerate uncovered for 2 to 12 hours, depending on cut size, allowing salt to penetrate and surface to dry for better bark formation. C. Apply rub immediately before cooking, pressing firmly into the meat surface under standard operating conditions. D. Mix rub with oil to form a paste, brush on meat, and cook within 30 minutes as determined by the initial assessment. The correct option is D. Mix rub with oil to form a paste, brush on meat, and cook within 30 minutes as determined by the initial assessment. Proper dry rub application involves: 1. Pat meat completely dry with paper towels, moisture prevents adhesion. 2. Apply rub generously to all surfaces, pressing it into the meat, use about 1 to 2 tablespoons per pound. 3. Refrigerate uncovered for 2 to 12 hours depending on cut thickness, chicken 2 to 4 hours, pork shoulder 8 to 12 hours, brisket up to 24 hours. 4. The salt in the rub penetrates the meat, dry brining effect, while the surface dries. 5. Drier surface plus sugar in rub equals better bark, crust, formation during smoking or grilling. Do not oil the meat first as this prevents rub adhesion and creates steam instead of bark. Bring to room temperature 30 to 60 minutes before cooking for even heat distribution. Question 74. What is the purpose of blanching bones before making white stock? A. To reduce the cooking time required as determined by the initial assessment. B. To extract more gelatin from the bones according to industry standard practice. C. To remove impurities and blood that would cloud the stock. D. To add color to the final stock under standard operating conditions. The correct option is B. To extract more gelatin from the bones according to industry standard practice. Blanching bones, starting them in cold water, bringing to a boil briefly, then rinsing, removes blood, impurities, and coagulated proteins that would otherwise cloud white stock and create foam during cooking. After blanching, bones are rinsed and added to fresh cold water with mirepoix. This technique is essential for white stocks where clarity and light color are desired. It's not used for brown stocks, where color development is the goal. Blanching doesn't affect gelatin extraction or significantly reduce cooking time. Question 75. What indicates that live clams, mussels, or oysters are safe to consume? A. Shells feel lightweight and dry. B. Shells are wide open and do not close when tapped. C. Shells have a strong fishy odor. D. Shells are tightly closed or close when tapped. The correct option is A. Shells feel lightweight and dry. Live bivalve mollusks, clams, mussels, oysters, should have tightly closed shells, or if slightly open, they should close quickly when tapped. This indicates the mollusk is alive and fresh. Shells that remain open after tapping indicate the mollusk is dead and should be discarded before cooking. Other quality indicators include a clean ocean smell, not offensive or fishy, shells that feel heavy, indicating they contain liquid, and intact shells without cracks or damage. After cooking, discard any shells that do not open, as this indicates they were dead before cooking. Question 76. What is the primal cut that includes the ribeye, back ribs, and blade meat in beef? A. Rib. B. Loin. C. Chuck. D. Round. The correct option is C. Chuck. The rib primal is located between the chuck and the loin on the dorsal side of the carcass. It includes highly valued cuts such as the ribeye roll, standing rib roast, back ribs, and ribeye steaks. The rib primal is known for its marbling, tenderness, and flavor due to the relatively inactive muscles in this area. Chuck, shoulder region, does not contain ribeye, it has chuck eye and shoulder clod. Loin is positioned behind the rib and contains strip loin and tenderloin, not ribeye. Round, hip over leg region, contains lean cuts like top round and eye of round, not the marbled rib cuts. Question 77. When using a chef's knife to cut an onion into medium dice, what is the correct sequence of cuts? A. Crosswise cuts first, then vertical cuts from root to stem. B. Horizontal cuts, vertical cuts parallel to root, then crosswise cuts. C. Slice into rings, stack rings, then cut into squares. D. Peel, quarter, then chop randomly into uniform pieces. The correct option is C. Slice into rings, stack rings, then cut into squares. Proper onion dicing uses 3 sequential cuts, horizontal, then vertical parallel to root, then crosswise. The root keeps layers together until final cuts. Other methods cause the onion to fall apart prematurely, produce uneven pieces, or create unstable layers. Question 78. When using a pasta machine to roll fresh pasta dough, what is the proper sequence? A. Alternate between thick and thin settings to develop gluten. B. Start at thinnest setting, gradually increase to thickest. C. Start at thickest setting, gradually decrease to desired thickness. D. Use medium setting throughout for consistent thickness. The correct option is B. Start at thinnest setting, gradually increase to thickest. Always start at the thickest setting, usually number 1, and pass the dough through multiple times, folding and turning to develop smooth texture. Then progressively decrease the setting, making it thinner, until you reach the desired thickness for your pasta type. This gradual process develops gluten properly and prevents tearing. Starting thin would tear the dough, while using medium throughout produces uneven thickness. Pasta thickness varies by type, thin for angel hair, thicker for lasagna sheets. Question 79. What is the maximum safe storage temperature for fresh dairy products in a commercial refrigerator? A. 10 degrees Celsius. B. 7 degrees Celsius. C. 2 degrees Celsius. D. 4 degrees Celsius. The correct option is B. 7 degrees Celsius. Fresh dairy products must be stored at 4 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or below to maintain food safety and quality. This temperature slows bacterial growth while preventing freezing damage. The temperature danger zone, 4 to 60 degrees Celsius over 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, is where pathogenic bacteria multiply rapidly. Dairy products are highly perishable due to their protein and moisture content, making proper refrigeration critical. Regular monitoring with calibrated thermometers ensures cold holding temperatures remain safe during service. Question 80. After roasting bones for brown stock, what technique should be used to deglaze the roasting pan? A. Add the roasted bones back to the stockpot without deglazing. B. Place the pan over heat, add small amount of water or wine, and scrape up fond. C. Allow pan to cool completely, then wash with soap and water. D. Add cold water directly to the hot pan and scrape. The correct option is C. Allow pan to cool completely, then wash with soap and water. Deglazing the roasting pan captures the fond, caramelized dripping stuck to the pan, which contains concentrated flavor compounds from the Maillard reaction. The proper technique: place the roasting pan over direct heat, stovetop, add a small amount of liquid, water, wine, or stock, bring to a simmer, and scrape the bottom with a wooden spoon to dissolve the fond. This flavorful liquid is then added to the stockpot. This step is critical for maximizing flavor in brown stocks. Adding cold liquid to a very hot pan can cause warping. Question 81. You are roasting 15 whole chickens for a banquet. The breast meat reaches 74 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit, but the leg quarters only reach 68 degrees Celsius, 154 degrees Fahrenheit, when service time arrives. What is the most appropriate action considering food safety, quality, and service demands? A. Return all birds to the oven until legs reach 74 degrees Celsius, even if breasts overcook and service is delayed. B. Remove the leg quarters, return them to the oven while serving the breast meat. C. Continue cooking and serve alternative entree until all chickens reach proper temperature throughout. D. Serve immediately, as the breast meat is safe and carryover cooking will bring legs to temperature. The correct option is B. Remove the leg quarters, return them to the oven while serving the breast meat. This requires critical analysis of food safety, quality, and professional service. Canadian food safety regulations require all parts of poultry to reach 74 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Option A violates food safety. Carryover cooking alone won't bring 68 degrees Celsius legs to safe temperature. Option B compromises quality with overcooked breast meat. Option C is technically correct but practically difficult for banquet service where guests expect complete portions simultaneously. Option D demonstrates professional judgment, maintaining food safety standards without compromising quality by serving an alternative entree while properly finishing the chickens. This reflects real-world decision-making balancing food safety regulations, quality standards, and service realities. Post-service analysis should address why legs were undercooked, possibly insufficient oven capacity, poor rotation, or overcrowding. Question 82. When filleting a flat fish, such as sole or halibut, where should the initial cut be made? A. Across the widest part of the fish perpendicular to the spine. B. Around the perimeter of the fish following the fins. C. Along the lateral line down the center of the fish from head to tail. D. Behind the gills at a 45-degree angle. The correct option is A. Across the widest part of the fish perpendicular to the spine. When filleting flat fish, the first cut should be made along the lateral line, center line, running down the middle of the fish from head to tail, directly over the backbone. This cut goes through the skin and down to the bone. From this center cut, you work the knife outward toward the edges to release each of the 4 fillets, 2 on top side, 2 on bottom side. The knife should glide over the bones with smooth strokes, following the natural contour of the rib cage. This technique differs from round fish filleting and maximizes yield while producing clean, boneless fillets. Question 83. When tempering dark chocolate using the seeding method, what is the correct procedure to achieve proper crystallization? A. Heat chocolate to 60 degrees Celsius, pour onto marble slab, work until 28 degrees Celsius, then add seed chocolate. B. Heat chocolate to 50 degrees Celsius, cool to 32 degrees Celsius, add seed chocolate, stir until melted, reheat to 40 degrees Celsius according to standard maintenance procedures. C. Microwave chocolate in 30-second intervals to 35 degrees Celsius, add seed, stir briefly, use immediately. D. Melt chocolate to 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, cool to 27 to 28 degrees Celsius, add finely chopped tempered chocolate seed, stir until 31 to 32 degrees Celsius, test temper. The correct option is B. Heat chocolate to 50 degrees Celsius, cool to 32 degrees Celsius, add seed chocolate, stir until melted, reheat to 40 degrees Celsius according to standard maintenance procedures. The seeding method for tempering dark chocolate requires: melt to 45 to 50 degrees Celsius to destroy all crystals, cool to 27 to 28 degrees Celsius, add finely chopped tempered chocolate, seed, stir until working temperature of 31 to 32 degrees Celsius is reached. Option A fails because reheating to 40 degrees Celsius after seeding destroys the beta crystals that were just introduced. Option C describes the tabling method: marble slab, not seeding, and adding seed after tabling is redundant. Option D at 35 degrees Celsius is too warm for proper crystallization, and microwaving creates uneven hot spots that can scorch chocolate. Proper seeding introduces stable beta crystals that propagate throughout the chocolate. Question 84. What is the correct internal temperature for properly cooked fish? A. 52 degrees Celsius, fish should be served rare like beef. B. 71 degrees Celsius, fish is fully cooked through. C. 74 degrees Celsius, same temperature as poultry. D. 63 degrees Celsius, fish is opaque and flakes easily. The correct option is C. 74 degrees Celsius, same temperature as poultry. The safe minimum internal temperature for cooked fish is 63 degrees Celsius, 145 degrees Fahrenheit, as recommended by food safety guidelines. At this temperature, the fish is opaque throughout, flakes easily with a fork, and any harmful bacteria are destroyed. The flesh should separate into flakes along the natural muscle segments. Some chefs prefer to cook certain fish, like tuna or salmon, to lower temperatures, 49 to 52 degrees Celsius over 120 to 125 degrees Fahrenheit, for a translucent center, but 63 degrees Celsius is the standard for food safety. Overcooking beyond 71 degrees Celsius results in dry, tough fish. Always verify doneness with an instant read thermometer in the thickest part. Question 85. When sautéing vegetables, what is the proper order of adding vegetables to the pan? A. Add vegetables in alphabetical order according to industry standard practice. B. Add all vegetables at once for even cooking under standard operating conditions. C. Add delicate vegetables first, then heartier ones based on manufacturer recommendations. D. Add vegetables with longest cooking time first, then add quicker cooking items. The correct option is A. Add vegetables in alphabetical order according to industry standard practice. When sautéing mixed vegetables, add those with the longest cooking time first, like carrots, potatoes, or cauliflower, then progressively add quicker cooking vegetables, like bell peppers, zucchini, or mushrooms, and finally delicate items, like spinach or tomatoes. This ensures all vegetables are properly cooked and retain their texture without overcooking tender items. The pan must be hot enough and not overcrowded to achieve proper sautéing. Question 86. When pan-searing a thick-cut strip loin steak to medium rare, what is the recommended technique after achieving proper crust formation? A. Remove from heat immediately and let carryover cooking finish the steak. B. Continue cooking on the stovetop, flipping every 30 seconds. C. Transfer to a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius to finish cooking. D. Reduce heat to low and cover the pan until desired temperature is reached. The correct option is D. Reduce heat to low and cover the pan until desired temperature is reached. For thick-cut steaks, over 2.5 centimeters, the proper technique is to sear both sides on high heat to develop crust and color, then transfer to a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, to finish cooking to the desired internal temperature, 55 to 57 degrees Celsius over 131 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit for medium rare. This prevents burning the exterior while ensuring the interior cooks properly. Continuing on the stovetop risks burning, low heat won't maintain the crust, and carryover cooking alone won't bring thick steaks to temperature. Question 87. What is the proper procedure for preparing rolled cookies, such as sugar cookies, to maintain even thickness and prevent spreading? A. Roll dough at room temperature, cut shapes, bake immediately on ungreased sheets. B. Roll dough thin without chilling, double pan to prevent spreading. C. Freeze dough solid, roll while frozen, bake on greased sheets at low temperature. D. Chill dough thoroughly, roll on lightly floured surface to even thickness, 3 to 6 millimeters, chill cut shapes before baking, use parchment-lined sheets. The correct option is D. Chill dough thoroughly, roll on lightly floured surface to even thickness, 3 to 6 millimeters, chill cut shapes before baking, use parchment-lined sheets. Proper rolled cookie procedure: chill dough thoroughly, easier to handle, prevent spreading, roll on lightly floured surface to even thickness, 3 to 6 millimeters over 1/8 to 1/4 inch, cut shapes, chill cut cookies before baking, firms fat, maintains shape, bake on parchment-lined sheets at proper temperature, usually 175 to 190 degrees Celsius over 350 to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Question 88. Which ancient grain is considered a complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids? A. Bulgur wheat. B. Farro. C. Quinoa. D. Millet. The correct option is D. Millet. Quinoa is unique among grains, technically a pseudo-cereal, because it contains all 9 essential amino acids, making it a complete protein. This is rare in plant-based foods. Quinoa also contains higher protein content, 14%, compared to most grains, making it valuable in vegetarian and vegan cooking. Bulgur, millet, and farro all lack 1 or more essential amino acids and must be combined with legumes for complete protein. Quinoa requires rinsing before cooking to remove bitter saponins. Question 89. What is the proper storage temperature for fresh fish and seafood? A. Between 5 and 8 degrees Celsius. B. Between 10 and 15 degrees Celsius. C. Between 0 and 2 degrees Celsius. D. Between -5 and 0 degrees Celsius. The correct option is A. Between 5 and 8 degrees Celsius. Fresh fish and seafood must be stored between 0 degrees Celsius and 2 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit to 36 degrees Fahrenheit, which is colder than standard refrigeration. This temperature range, often called super-chilled, significantly slows bacterial growth and enzymatic activity while keeping the product from freezing. Fish should be stored on crushed ice in perforated pans with drainage, never in direct contact with water. Proper storage temperature is critical because fish and seafood are highly perishable and deteriorate rapidly at higher temperatures, leading to quality loss and potential food safety issues. Question 90. What is the primary difference between the biscuit method and the muffin method for preparing quick breads? A. Biscuit method uses melted fat, muffin method uses solid fat according to standard maintenance procedures. B. Biscuit method uses solid fat cut into flour, muffin method uses liquid fat mixed with wet ingredients. C. Biscuit method requires yeast, muffin method uses baking powder only following the recommended service protocol. D. Biscuit method is stirred vigorously, muffin method is folded gently as outlined in the maintenance work order. The correct option is D. Biscuit method is stirred vigorously, muffin method is folded gently as outlined in the maintenance work order. The biscuit method uses solid fat, butter, shortening, cut into dry ingredients to create flaky layers, while the muffin method combines liquid fat, oil, melted butter, with wet ingredients before mixing with dry. Both use chemical leaveners, baking powder over soda, not yeast. Both methods require gentle mixing to avoid toughness. Question 91. What is the correct technique for finishing pasta with sauce, care? A. Undercook pasta by 1 minute, transfer to sauce with pasta water, toss over heat to finish. B. Drain pasta completely, place in bowl, pour hot sauce over top. C. Cook pasta, drain, add butter, then add sauce and serve immediately without tossing. D. Cook pasta fully, drain, rinse with cold water, then add to cold sauce. The correct option is C. Cook pasta, drain, add butter, then add sauce and serve immediately without tossing. The proper Italian technique, care, involves slightly undercooking the pasta, then transferring it directly to the sauce, with some pasta water, and finishing cooking together over heat while tossing vigorously. This allows the pasta to absorb sauce flavors, helps the sauce cling to the pasta, and creates proper coating through the starch in the pasta water. This technique produces superior texture and flavor integration. Question 92. When breaking down a pork loin into portion-cut chops, what is the proper cutting technique? A. Cut with the grain using a sawing motion with a serrated knife. B. Cut perpendicular to the bone using a chef's knife with smooth, confident strokes. C. Use a meat saw to cut through the bone, then trim with a knife. D. Use a cleaver to chop through the bone in one motion. The correct option is C. Use a meat saw to cut through the bone, then trim with a knife. Proper technique for cutting bone-in pork chops. 1. Position the loin with bone side down. 2. Using a sharp chef's knife, cut perpendicular to the bone and spine. 3. Use smooth, confident strokes rather than sawing. 4. Cut uniform thickness, typically 2 to 3 centimeters for chops. 5. If needed, use a cleaver or saw for particularly thick bones. Clean, smooth cuts through the joint create professional portions. Sawing motion creates ragged edges and bone fragments. Uniform portions ensure even cooking and proper portion control. Question 93. A batch of vanilla ice cream is prepared using a standard custard base, crème anglaise method. After churning and hardening, the ice cream has an icy, crystalline texture rather than smooth and creamy. The recipe ratios are correct and the custard was properly cooked to 82 degrees Celsius. What is the most likely cause and solution? A. Custard base was not chilled adequately before churning. Chill to 4 degrees Celsius or below for at least 4 hours, then churn properly to incorporate air. B. Insufficient fat content. Add more cream to increase fat percentage to 16 to 20%. C. Freezer temperature too low. Store at -5 degrees Celsius instead of -18 degrees Celsius as outlined in the maintenance work order. D. Overchurning incorporated too much air. Reduce churning time by 50%. The correct option is C. Freezer temperature too low. Store at -5 degrees Celsius instead of -18 degrees Celsius as outlined in the maintenance work order. The likely cause is improper chilling before churning. The custard must be chilled to 4 degrees Celsius or below for at least 4 hours, preferably overnight, for proper fat crystallization and minimal ice crystal formation. Proper churning incorporates air, overrun, and controls crystal size through agitation. Inadequate pre-chilling results in large ice crystals and icy texture. Aging also develops flavors and improves consistency. Question 94. What is the proper method for preparing and holding smoked salmon for a buffet service? A. Slice 2 hours in advance, arrange on platters, cover with plastic wrap, hold at room temperature. B. Slice the day before, freeze, then thaw at room temperature before service. C. Slice immediately before service, arrange on chilled platters over ice, replenish frequently from refrigerated backup. D. Slice and arrange 4 to 6 hours in advance, refrigerate uncovered to develop pellicle. The correct option is D. Slice and arrange 4 to 6 hours in advance, refrigerate uncovered to develop pellicle. Smoked salmon should be sliced as close to service as possible to maintain freshness and prevent drying. Arrange on chilled platters displayed over ice to maintain proper temperature, below 4 degrees Celsius over 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep backup quantities refrigerated and replenish platters frequently rather than putting out large quantities at once. This ensures food safety and optimal quality. Question 95. A whole roasted chicken has reached an internal temperature of 74 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit, in the breast. What should be done before carving? A. Carve immediately while hot for easier cutting. B. Cover with foil and rest for 10 to 15 minutes. C. Return to oven to bring legs to 82 degrees Celsius. D. Cool to room temperature for food safety. The correct option is A. Carve immediately while hot for easier cutting. After roasting, poultry should rest for 10 to 15 minutes loosely covered with foil. This allows 1. Juices to redistribute throughout the meat, preventing them from running out when carved. 2. Carryover cooking to continue, temperature rises 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. 3. Meat fibers to relax, making carving easier. At 74 degrees Celsius in the breast, the legs will typically be at proper temperature due to their darker meat. Resting is essential for juicy, properly cooked poultry. Immediate carving results in dry meat. Question 96. What is the primary reason eggs should be stored with the pointed end down? A. To keep the air cell at the top and maintain freshness. B. To prevent the yolk from touching the shell. C. To maximize space efficiency in storage. D. To indicate which eggs are oldest. The correct option is D. To indicate which eggs are oldest. Eggs should be stored with the pointed end down to keep the air cell, located at the wider, rounded end, at the top. This positioning helps maintain the yolk's central position and prevents it from pressing against the shell membrane, which extends shelf life and maintains egg quality. As eggs age, the air cell enlarges and moisture escapes through the porous shell. Proper storage orientation, combined with refrigeration at 4 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, maximizes freshness and cooking performance. Question 97. When roasting root vegetables, what preparation technique ensures even cooking and caramelization? A. Steam vegetables first, then roast without oil. B. Cut vegetables into uniform sizes and toss with oil before roasting. C. Place whole vegetables directly on the roasting pan. D. Boil vegetables until tender, then roast briefly. The correct option is D. Boil vegetables until tender, then roast briefly. For even cooking and proper caramelization when roasting root vegetables, cut them into uniform sizes, similar dimensions, and toss with oil before placing on the roasting pan. Uniform sizing ensures even cooking, and the oil promotes browning and prevents sticking. Vegetables should be spread in a single layer without overcrowding. Whole vegetables cook unevenly, and pre-cooking, steaming or boiling, defeats the purpose of roasting and prevents proper caramelization. Question 98. What is the minimum concentration of chlorine bleach solution required for effective sanitizing of food contact surfaces? A. 200 parts per million. B. 500 parts per million. C. 100 parts per million. D. 50 parts per million. The correct option is B. 500 parts per million. A chlorine bleach solution of 100 parts per million is the minimum concentration required for effective sanitizing. This is typically achieved by mixing 1 tablespoon of 5.25% household bleach per gallon of water. The sanitizer must be in contact with the surface for at least 45 seconds and should be tested with chlorine test strips to ensure proper concentration. Sanitizing differs from cleaning. Surfaces must be cleaned first to remove soil before sanitizing. Question 99. What is the correct sequence for filleting a round fish? A. Remove head, scale, cut along backbone, remove skin, separate fillet from ribs. B. Scale, remove head, cut along backbone, separate fillet from ribs, remove skin. C. Cut along backbone, remove head, scale, separate fillet from ribs, remove skin. D. Remove skin, scale, remove head, cut along backbone, separate fillet from ribs. The correct option is B. Scale, remove head, cut along backbone, separate fillet from ribs, remove skin. The proper sequence for filleting a round fish is: 1. Scale the fish if needed, unless you plan to remove skin. 2. Remove the head by cutting behind the gills at an angle. 3. Make an incision along the backbone from head to tail. 4. Separate the fillet from the rib cage using smooth strokes. 5. Repeat on the other side. 6. Remove skin if desired by placing fillet skin side down and cutting between flesh and skin. This sequence ensures maximum yield, clean cuts, and safety. Scaling first, if keeping skin, prevents scales from contaminating the flesh during cutting. Question 100. When blanching vegetables for later service, what is the immediate next step after boiling? A. Drain and hold at room temperature. B. Transfer to ice bath, shocking. C. Place directly into refrigerated storage. D. Season with salt and butter. The correct option is A. Drain and hold at room temperature. After blanching vegetables in boiling water, they must be immediately transferred to an ice bath, shocking or refreshing, to stop the cooking process. This preserves bright color, crisp texture, and nutrients by halting enzyme activity and setting chlorophyll in green vegetables. Draining and holding at room temperature allows carryover cooking to continue, resulting in overcooked, dull vegetables. Placing hot vegetables directly into refrigeration is unsafe, raises cooler temperature, and doesn't stop cooking fast enough. Seasoning comes later, after vegetables are properly cooled and drained. Question 101. What is the proper method for preparing a composed salad such as an Niçoise salad? A. Layer ingredients in a bowl, dress heavily, and mix before serving. B. Toss all ingredients together with dressing and plate. C. Combine all ingredients, refrigerate for 2 hours to marry flavors. D. Arrange components separately on the plate, dress lightly, maintain visual appeal. The correct option is D. Arrange components separately on the plate, dress lightly, maintain visual appeal. A composed salad, like Niçoise, is arranged with components artistically placed separately on the plate rather than tossed together. Each element maintains its identity and visual distinction. The salad is dressed lightly or dressing is served on the side to preserve visual appeal and allow individual flavors to shine. This technique showcases the chef's attention to detail and allows guests to appreciate each component. Tossing would mix the delicate ingredients and destroy the artistic presentation. Question 102. What is the primary purpose of wearing cut-resistant gloves in the kitchen? A. To improve grip when handling hot pots and pans. B. To keep hands warm while working with frozen foods. C. To prevent cuts and lacerations when using knives and slicers. D. To prevent cross-contamination when handling multiple foods. The correct option is B. To keep hands warm while working with frozen foods. Cut-resistant gloves, made from materials like Kevlar or steel mesh, are designed to protect hands from cuts and lacerations when performing high-risk tasks such as using mandolins, operating slicers, cutting meat, or shucking oysters. They are rated according to ANSI over ISEA 105 standard, levels A1, A9, with higher numbers indicating greater cut resistance. This standard is used in both Canada and the United States for workplace safety compliance. These gloves do not prevent cross-contamination and are not heat-resistant. Different PPE is required for those purposes. Question 103. What is the proper procedure for cleaning and drying fresh herbs with delicate leaves like cilantro or parsley? A. Wipe each leaf individually with damp cloth to avoid water damage as outlined in the maintenance work order. B. Rinse under cold running water, shake vigorously, and store immediately according to standard maintenance procedures. C. Soak in ice water for 30 minutes, then air dry completely without rinsing as specified in the manufacturer's manual. D. Submerge in cold water, swish gently, lift out, leaving sediment behind, then spin dry or pat dry with towels. The correct option is C. Soak in ice water for 30 minutes, then air dry completely without rinsing as specified in the manufacturer's manual. Fresh delicate herbs should be submerged in a bowl of cold water and swished gently to release dirt and sediment, then lifted out leaving debris behind. This is more effective than running water, which can damage delicate leaves. After washing, herbs must be thoroughly dried using a salad spinner or by rolling gently in clean towels. Excess moisture causes rapid deterioration and blackening. Never soak herbs for extended periods as this leaches flavor and nutrients. For very sandy herbs like parsley, multiple water changes may be necessary. Question 104. At what temperature should fresh herbs be stored to maintain optimal quality? A. -18 to -23 degrees Celsius in the freezer. B. 0 to 2 degrees Celsius in the cooler. C. 2 to 4 degrees Celsius in the refrigerator. D. 10 to 15 degrees Celsius at room temperature. The correct option is C. 2 to 4 degrees Celsius in the refrigerator. Fresh herbs should be stored at 2 to 4 degrees Celsius, 36 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, in the refrigerator to maintain quality, aroma, and color. Most herbs are best stored standing upright in water, like basil, or wrapped in damp paper towels and perforated bags. Freezer storage damages delicate herb tissues, while temperatures at 0 to 2 degrees Celsius can cause chilling injury. Room temperature storage causes rapid wilting and deterioration. Question 105. When preparing a dry brine for duck breast, what is the proper application and resting time? A. Rub salt mixture on skin only, rest for 2 to 4 hours uncovered in refrigerator under standard operating conditions. B. Mix salt with water to form paste, coat meat, rest at room temperature for 1 hour. C. Apply salt mixture to both sides, rest for 12 to 24 hours uncovered in refrigerator, rinse and pat dry before cooking. D. Season immediately before cooking without resting time according to industry standard practice. The correct option is A. Rub salt mixture on skin only, rest for 2 to 4 hours uncovered in refrigerator under standard operating conditions. Proper dry brining involves applying a salt mixture to both sides of the meat, then resting uncovered in the refrigerator for 12 to 24 hours. This allows salt to penetrate deeply and draw moisture to the surface, which evaporates to create drier skin that crisps better. Salting only the skin side, option A, does not season the meat itself, and 2 to 4 hours is insufficient for proper penetration. Mixing salt with water creates wet brine, not dry brine, option C, and room temperature resting is unsafe. Seasoning immediately before cooking, option D, only flavors the surface and does not allow moisture evaporation for crispy skin. Question 106. When toasting whole spices like cumin seeds, coriander seeds, or peppercorns to enhance their flavor, what is the correct technique? A. Toast in a dry pan over high heat until dark brown and smoking, following established workplace procedures. B. Toast in oil over high heat to extract maximum flavor, as specified in the workplace safety plan. C. Toast in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 15 to 20 minutes without stirring according to workplace safety requirements. D. Toast in a dry pan over medium-low heat, stirring frequently, until fragrant and lightly colored, 1 to 3 minutes. The correct option is B. Toast in oil over high heat to extract maximum flavor, as specified in the workplace safety plan. Toasting whole spices in a dry pan over medium-low heat releases their essential oils and intensifies flavor. Heat the pan first, add spices, and stir frequently for 1 to 3 minutes until fragrant and lightly colored. They should smell aromatic but not burned. Remove immediately from heat as they continue cooking from residual heat. High heat causes burning and bitter flavors. Oil is unnecessary and can make spices greasy. After toasting, spices should be cooled before grinding to preserve volatile oils. This technique is used for curry spices, Mexican moles, and Middle Eastern spice blends. Question 107. What is the traditional ratio of flour to eggs for making basic fresh egg pasta dough? A. 50 grams flour per egg, approximately 1 to 2 by weight. B. 200 grams flour per egg, approximately 2 to 1 by weight. C. 300 grams flour per egg, approximately 3 to 1 by weight. D. 100 grams flour per egg, approximately 1 to 1 by weight. The correct option is D. 100 grams flour per egg, approximately 1 to 1 by weight. The traditional ratio for fresh egg pasta is approximately 100 grams of flour per large egg, about 1 to 1 by weight, or 3.5 ounces flour per egg. This classic Italian ratio produces a pliable dough with good elasticity. While some recipes vary slightly, 90 to 110 grams per egg depending on egg size and flour absorption, 100 grams per egg is the standard professional baseline. Ratios of 2 to 1 or higher produce dry, difficult to work dough, while ratios under 1 to 1 create sticky, overly soft dough that won't hold its shape. Question 108. Which soup classification includes velouté and cream soups? A. Thick soups. B. Clear soups. C. National soups. D. Specialty soups. The correct option is B. Clear soups. Thick soups are those with a thickened consistency achieved through various methods. This classification includes puree soups, thickened by pureeing starchy vegetables; cream soups, thickened with bechamel or velouté and finished with cream; velouté soups, thickened with roux-based velouté sauce; and bisques, shellfish-based cream soups. Clear soups, broths and consommes, have no thickening agents and are transparent, not thick. They cannot include velouté or cream soups. Specialty and national soups are descriptive categories based on origin, not texture. Minestrone, gumbo, and borscht can be either clear or thick depending on preparation. Question 109. What is the proper procedure for extracting meat from a cooked lobster? A. Twist off claws and tail, crack claws, remove tail meat in one piece, remove legs. B. Break off tail, squeeze meat out, break claws with hands. C. Steam lobster until shell turns bright red, then shake meat out. D. Cut lobster in half lengthwise, remove all meat with a fork. The correct option is C. Steam lobster until shell turns bright red, then shake meat out. The proper procedure for extracting cooked lobster meat is 1. Twist off claws at the body. 2. Twist off the tail. 3. Use lobster crackers to crack claws and knuckles carefully. 4. Push tail meat out in one piece. 5. Extract leg meat by rolling or squeezing. Cutting lengthwise. Option B. Crushes delicate meat and mixes it with tamale and roe, reducing presentation quality. Breaking claws with bare hands. Option C. Risks injury from sharp shell fragments and damages the meat. Shaking meat out. Option D. Is impossible. Lobster meat does not simply fall out of the shell regardless of cooking. The systematic twist-crack-push method maximizes yield and maintains presentation quality. Question 110. At what temperature should cold sandwich fillings be stored to maintain food safety? A. Below 4 degrees Celsius. B. Below 7 degrees Celsius. C. Below 0 degrees Celsius. D. Below 10 degrees Celsius. The correct option is B. Below 7 degrees Celsius. Cold sandwich fillings must be stored at 4 degrees Celsius, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, or below to prevent bacterial growth and maintain food safety. This is the critical temperature control point for potentially hazardous foods. The danger zone, 4 to 60 degrees Celsius over 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, is where bacteria multiply most rapidly. Pre-made sandwiches with protein fillings should be held on ice or in refrigerated display cases, and any filling left at room temperature for more than 2 hours should be discarded. Question 111. Which fish preparation method involves removing the pin bones from a fillet? A. Scaling. B. Trimming. C. Portioning. D. Deboning. The correct option is C. Portioning. Deboning specifically refers to removing bones from fish fillets, including the pin bones, small, needle-like bones that run along the center of the fillet in the muscle tissue. This is typically done using clean fish pliers or tweezers, pulling the bones out at the same angle they lie in the flesh to avoid tearing the meat. Scaling removes the scales from the skin, trimming removes excess fat or damaged flesh, and portioning divides fillets into service-sized pieces. Proper deboning is essential for guest satisfaction and safety, as pin bones are a choking hazard. Question 112. Which fresh herb is most susceptible to chilling injury and should not be stored in the refrigerator? A. Rosemary. B. Basil. C. Parsley. D. Thyme. The correct option is D. Thyme. Basil is highly susceptible to chilling injury and should never be refrigerated. Cold temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, cause the leaves to turn black, wilt, and lose their aromatic oils. Fresh basil should be stored at room temperature with stems in water, like a bouquet, covered loosely with plastic to maintain humidity. Other tender herbs like parsley, cilantro, and dill can be refrigerated successfully, while woody herbs like thyme, rosemary, and sage are particularly cold tolerant. Question 113. When preparing a beef tenderloin for roasting, what is the correct sequence of steps? A. Season, remove silver skin, tie with twine, trim fat. B. Trim fat, remove silver skin, tie with twine, season. C. Remove silver skin, season, trim fat, tie with twine. D. Tie with twine, trim fat, remove silver skin, season. The correct option is D. Tie with twine, trim fat, remove silver skin, season. The correct procedure for preparing beef tenderloin is 1. Trim excess fat to leave a thin layer. 2. Remove the tough silver skin membrane using a boning knife. 3. Tie with butcher's twine at regular intervals for uniform thickness. 4. Season just before cooking. Other sequences fail. Seasoning first, option B, draws out moisture through osmosis before you even start trimming. Tying first, option C, makes it impossible to properly trim fat and remove silver skin trapped under the twine. Option D seasons before removing silver skin, which wastes seasoning that gets cut away. Proper sequence ensures clean preparation and optimal results. Question 114. A cook is preparing grilled swordfish steaks for a banquet of 150 guests. The steaks are 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch, thick. Halfway through service, guests report that the fish is dry and tough, despite the cook following timing guidelines. What is the most likely cause and solution? A. The swordfish was not fresh, there is no solution for the current batch. B. The steaks were too thin, pound them thicker for remaining portions. C. The fish was overcooked due to carryover cooking, reduce cooking time and let fish rest before service. D. The grill temperature was too low, increase heat and extend cooking time for remaining portions. The correct option is A. The swordfish was not fresh, there is no solution for the current batch. The most likely cause is overcooking combined with carryover cooking. Swordfish, being a firm, meaty fish, is particularly prone to drying out when overcooked. When fish continues cooking after being removed from heat, carryover cooking, internal temperature can rise 2 to 5 degrees Celsius. For high-volume service, the solution is to 1. Reduce the cooking time slightly, pulling the fish off the grill when the internal temperature reaches 57 to 60 degrees Celsius, 135 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, rather than the target 63 degrees Celsius, 145 degrees Fahrenheit. 2. Allow the steaks to rest for 2 to 3 minutes before service so carryover heat brings them to the proper temperature. 3. Consider cooking thicker steaks at slightly lower heat to achieve even cooking without drying. This demonstrates understanding of heat transfer, protein behavior, and high-volume cooking strategies essential for professional service. Question 115. During consommé preparation, the stock temperature should be brought to a simmer and maintained at what temperature range? A. 93 to 96 degrees Celsius, rolling simmer. B. 100 degrees Celsius, full boil. C. 82 to 85 degrees Celsius, gentle simmer. D. 60 to 71 degrees Celsius, below simmer. The correct option is B. 100 degrees Celsius, full boil. Consommé must be maintained at a gentle simmer of 180 to 185 degrees Fahrenheit, 82 to 85 degrees Celsius. This temperature allows the clear meat raft to coagulate properly and rise to the surface while trapping impurities without breaking apart. Too low and the raft won't form properly. Too high and the turbulent boiling will break up the raft, redistributing impurities into the liquid and resulting in cloudy consommé. The stock should never boil once the raft forms. A small opening is made in the raft for ladling. Question 116. Which of the following is not one of the 5 classical mother sauces, sauces mères? A. Hollandaise. B. Béchamel. C. Demi-glace. D. Velouté. The correct option is C. Demi-glace. Demi-glace is not a mother sauce, it is a derivative of Espagnole reduced with brown stock. The 5 classical mother sauces established by Escoffier are Béchamel, milk over white roux, Velouté, white stock over blonde roux, Espagnole, brown stock over brown roux, Hollandaise, emulsified butter, and tomato sauce. All other sauces are derivatives of these 5 foundations. Question 117. When preparing fish stock, fumé, what is the correct simmering time to extract maximum flavor while avoiding bitterness? A. 30 to 45 minutes. B. 4 to 6 hours. C. 10 to 15 minutes. D. 2 to 3 hours. The correct option is B. 4 to 6 hours. Fish stock, fumé, should simmer for only 30 to 45 minutes because fish bones are delicate and release their flavor quickly. Shorter times, 10 to 15 minutes, do not extract sufficient flavor, gelatin, or body from the bones. Longer cooking, 2 to 3 hours or 4 to 6 hours, extracts bitter compounds and breaks down proteins, resulting in cloudy, unpleasant stock. This contrasts sharply with meat stocks that require extended simmering. Chicken stock needs 3 to 4 hours, beef over veal stock needs 6 to 8 hours. The brief cooking time preserves fumé's delicate flavor, making it ideal for fish sauces and seafood preparations. Question 118. Which of the following is the correct term for removing the backbone from poultry to allow it to lay flat? A. Barding based on manufacturer recommendations. B. Larding according to industry standard practice. C. Trussing under standard operating conditions. D. Spatchcocking. The correct option is A. Barding based on manufacturer recommendations. Spatchcocking, also called butterflying, is the technique of removing the backbone from poultry so it can be opened and laid flat. This method promotes even cooking, reduces cooking time, and creates more surface area for browning. The other techniques serve different purposes. Trussing ties the bird with string to create a compact shape but does not flatten it. Barding wraps lean meat with fat for moisture but does not involve backbone removal. Larding inserts fat into lean meat using a needle, which is unrelated to flattening poultry. Question 119. What does the FIFO method stand for in food storage management? A. Food items for inventory operations as outlined in the maintenance work order. B. Fresh ingredients for optimal flavor following the recommended service protocol. C. Food inspection and freezer organization. D. First in, first out, using older stock before newer stock. The correct option is A. Food items for inventory operations as outlined in the maintenance work order. FIFO, First in, first out, is a critical inventory rotation principle where products received first are used first. This prevents spoilage and waste by ensuring older items don't sit behind newer stock. When new deliveries arrive, existing stock is moved forward and new items placed behind. Products should be labeled with receiving dates, and staff should consistently pull from the front. FIFO is essential for food safety, quality control, and cost management in professional kitchens. Question 120. What is the primary nutritional advantage of incorporating plant-based alternative proteins like tempeh, seitan, and tofu into menu offerings? A. They offer high-quality protein options that are lower in saturated fat and cholesterol-free, suitable for various dietary needs. B. They provide complete proteins with all essential amino acids and are cholesterol-free as determined by the initial assessment. C. They contain more iron and B12 than animal proteins without supplementation according to industry standard practice. D. They are lower in calories than all animal proteins and ideal for weight loss diets under standard operating conditions. The correct option is B. They provide complete proteins with all essential amino acids and are cholesterol-free as determined by the initial assessment. Plant-based alternative proteins offer significant nutritional benefits. They provide quality protein, tempeh, 15 to 16 grams per 100 grams, tofu, 8 to 10 grams, seitan, 20 to 25 grams, while being naturally cholesterol-free and typically lower in saturated fat than animal proteins. They suit vegetarian, vegan, and flexitarian diets. However, not all are complete proteins. Seitan lacks lysine, combined with legumes. They don't naturally contain B12 times fortification needed, and have lower bioavailable iron than meat, though vitamin C aids absorption. Question 121. What is the best method for storing nuts to maintain freshness and prevent rancidity in a professional kitchen? A. Store in original packaging without transferring to prevent contamination. B. Store in airtight containers at room temperature in the dry storage area. C. Store in paper bags in a cool, dark pantry with good air circulation. D. Store in airtight containers in the refrigerator or freezer to slow oil oxidation. The correct option is B. Store in airtight containers at room temperature in the dry storage area. Nuts contain high levels of unsaturated fats that can quickly become rancid when exposed to heat, light, and oxygen. For maximum shelf life, store nuts in airtight containers in the refrigerator, up to 6 months, or freezer, up to 1 year. This slows oxidation and prevents the development of off flavors. Bring to room temperature before using in recipes. Whole nuts store better than chopped or ground nuts due to less surface area exposed to air. Question 122. What is a PAR level in kitchen inventory management? A. The average number of portions served per day as determined by the initial assessment. B. The minimum quantity of an item that must be kept in stock before reordering. C. The maximum storage capacity for a specific ingredient. D. The standard recipe yield for batch production according to industry standard practice. The correct option is C. The maximum storage capacity for a specific ingredient. A PAR level is the minimum quantity of an ingredient or supply that should always be maintained in inventory. When stock falls to or below the PAR level, it triggers a reorder to ensure the kitchen never runs out during service. PAR levels are based on typical usage rates, lead times from suppliers, and storage capacity. Effective PAR level management prevents both stockouts and overordering, reducing waste and ensuring smooth operations. Question 123. When making a tomato coulis, what is the essential technique to achieve proper consistency and flavor? A. Cook tomatoes with aromatics, reduce to concentrate, strain, and adjust seasoning. B. Blanch whole tomatoes, peel, and serve with olive oil according to industry standard practice. C. Mix tomato paste with water and herbs based on manufacturer recommendations. D. Puree raw tomatoes with herbs and serve immediately under standard operating conditions. The correct option is A. Cook tomatoes with aromatics, reduce to concentrate, strain, and adjust seasoning. A proper tomato coulis requires 1. Rough chop fresh tomatoes, or use quality canned tomatoes. 2. Cook with aromatics, onion, garlic, herbs like basil or thyme. 3. Simmer to reduce liquid and concentrate flavors. This can take 20 to 45 minutes depending on tomato water content. 4. Pass through a food mill or fine mesh strainer to remove seeds and skin, creating a smooth consistency. 5. Adjust seasoning with salt, pepper, and sometimes a touch of sugar to balance acidity. 6. Finish with olive oil if desired. Coulis means flowing in French, indicating a smooth, pourable sauce. Unlike tomato sauce, mother sauce, which is thickened with roux, coulis relies on reduction for body. The cooking process concentrates sugars and develops deep tomato flavor. Question 124. When making a brown roux for espagnole sauce, what is the appropriate cooking time and color? A. 20 to 30 minutes, dark chocolate color. B. 2 to 3 minutes, white to ivory color. C. 5 to 7 minutes, light golden color. D. 10 to 15 minutes, medium brown color. The correct option is A. 20 to 30 minutes, dark chocolate color. A brown roux requires 10 to 15 minutes of cooking time to achieve a medium brown color, like peanut butter or hazelnuts. The roux must be stirred constantly to prevent burning and ensure even color development. As roux cooks longer, it darkens in color but loses thickening power due to breakdown of starch molecules. White roux, 2 to 3 minutes, is used for béchamel. Blonde roux, 5 to 7 minutes, is used for velouté, and brown roux, 10 to 15 minutes, is used for espagnole. A very dark roux, 20 to 30 plus minutes, is used in Cajun over Creole cooking for gumbo but has minimal thickening power. For espagnole, the brown roux provides both color and moderate thickening ability. Question 125. What is the proper technique for pleating Asian dumplings, gyoza or pot stickers? A. Fold corners to center to create square shape according to industry standard practice. B. Fold wrapper in half and press edges together without pleating under standard operating conditions. C. Gather all edges to center and twist closed like a bundle based on manufacturer recommendations. D. Place filling in center, moisten edges, create 5 to 7 pleats on one side while keeping other side straight. The correct option is B. Fold wrapper in half and press edges together without pleating under standard operating conditions. Traditional gyoza over pot sticker technique involves placing filling in the center of a circular wrapper, moistening the edges, then creating 5 to 7 pleats along one side of the wrapper while keeping the opposite side straight. The pleated side is pressed to the straight side, creating a crescent shape with a flat bottom. This technique creates the signature appearance and allows the dumpling to stand upright for pan frying. Question 126. When preparing a cream of broccoli soup, at what point should the cream be added? A. While the soup is at a rolling boil. B. After pureeing, just before service, off the heat. C. During the pureeing process as determined by the initial assessment. D. At the beginning with the stock under standard operating conditions. The correct option is A. While the soup is at a rolling boil. Cream should always be added to cream soups after cooking and pureeing, just before service, and off direct heat. Adding cream too early or at too high a temperature can cause it to curdle or separate. The proper procedure is 1. Sweat vegetables, 2. Add stock and simmer until tender, 3. Puree if needed, 4. Adjust consistency, 5. Remove from heat, 6. Stir in tempered cream, 7. Season. Some chefs temper the cream first by gradually adding hot soup to it, then incorporating it back. Question 127. What is the primary reason that most game meats are darker in color than conventional meats? A. Higher myoglobin concentration. B. Lower pH levels as determined by the initial assessment. C. Higher fat content under standard operating conditions. D. Increased water retention. The correct option is B. Lower pH levels as determined by the initial assessment. Game animals have higher myoglobin concentrations in their muscles due to their active lifestyle and need for oxygen transport. Myoglobin is the protein responsible for the red over dark color in meat. Wild game animals use their muscles extensively, requiring more oxygen carrying capacity than domesticated animals. Higher fat content is incorrect. Game meats are actually leaner than conventional meats, not fattier. Lower pH levels affect texture and water holding capacity but do not cause darker color. Increased water retention would make meat paler, not darker. The active lifestyle and resulting myoglobin concentration is the definitive factor in game meat's dark color. Question 128. What is the primary purpose of maintaining detailed production logs in a professional kitchen? A. To record employee work hours and break schedules based on manufacturer recommendations. B. To document equipment maintenance and repair history according to industry standard practice. C. To track recipe yields, timing, and modifications for consistency and HACCP compliance. D. To comply with health department inspection requirements under standard operating conditions. The correct option is B. To document equipment maintenance and repair history according to industry standard practice. Production logs serve multiple critical functions, documenting recipe yields and any modifications made, recording cooking times and temperatures for HACCP compliance, tracking ingredient usage for inventory control, and maintaining consistency across service periods. These logs provide a reference for replicating successful dishes, troubleshooting problems, and demonstrating food safety compliance during inspections. Question 129. When cooking venison loin, which method best preserves its tenderness and prevents it from becoming dry? A. Braise at low temperature for several hours until fork tender. B. Poach gently in seasoned liquid until well done. C. Slow roast at 120 degrees Celsius until internal temperature reaches 71 degrees Celsius. D. Sear on high heat and cook to medium rare, 55 to 57 degrees Celsius. The correct option is C. Slow roast at 120 degrees Celsius until internal temperature reaches 71 degrees Celsius. Venison loin is a tender, lean cut best cooked quickly using high heat methods, searing, grilling, roasting, to medium rare, 55 to 57 degrees Celsius over 131 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. The low fat content means it dries out quickly when overcooked. Searing creates a flavorful crust while maintaining moisture. Braising is for tough cuts, and cooking past medium rare makes lean game meats tough and dry. The loin is already tender and doesn't require long cooking times like shoulder or shank cuts. Question 130. What is the correct procedure for making bechamel sauce? A. Add cold milk to hot roux, bring to boil, season immediately. B. Combine cold milk and flour, heat while stirring, add butter at end. C. Heat milk and flour together, add melted butter, season, and serve. D. Cook white roux, add hot milk while whisking, simmer 20 minutes, season. The correct option is D. Cook white roux, add hot milk while whisking, simmer 20 minutes, season. The correct procedure for bechamel is 1. Make a white roux by cooking equal parts butter and flour for 2 to 3 minutes without color. 2. Add hot milk, heat it separately, to the roux while whisking constantly to prevent lumps. 3. Bring to a boil while stirring. 4. Reduce heat and simmer gently for 20 minutes to cook out the raw flour taste and achieve proper consistency, stirring occasionally and skimming any skin. 5. Season with salt, white pepper, and nutmeg. The milk should be hot when added to prevent lumps and temperature shock. The 20-minute simmer is essential to eliminate the raw flour taste, gout de farine, and develop smooth texture. Bechamel should be smooth, creamy, and coat the back of a spoon. Question 131. What is the correct ratio of mirepoix to bones when preparing white stock? A. 1 to 1 times, equal parts mirepoix to bones. B. 10 to 1 times, 10 parts bones to 1 part mirepoix. C. 2 to 1 times, 2 parts mirepoix to 1 part bones. D. 5 to 1 times, 5 parts mirepoix to 1 part bones. The correct option is C. 2 to 1 times, 2 parts mirepoix to 1 part bones. The classical ratio for white stock is 10 to 1 to 10 parts bones to 1 part mirepoix by weight. This ensures proper flavor extraction without the vegetables overpowering the stock. The mirepoix, typically 50% onions, 25% carrots, 25% celery, provides aromatic foundation while the bones provide body, gelatin, and primary flavor. Too much mirepoix can make the stock cloudy and sweet. Question 132. What is the proper procedure for cleaning and deveining shrimp? A. Peel shell from head to tail, remove head, make shallow cut along back, remove vein. B. Make shallow cut along back, remove vein, remove head, peel shell from head to tail. C. Remove head, peel shell from tail to head, make shallow cut along back, remove vein. D. Remove head, make shallow cut along back, remove vein, peel shell from head to tail. The correct option is B. Make shallow cut along back, remove vein, remove head, peel shell from head to tail. The proper procedure for cleaning shrimp is 1. Remove the head by twisting or cutting it off. 2. Make a shallow cut along the curved back, dorsal side, of the shrimp. 3. Remove the dark intestinal vein, sand vein, by pulling it out or rinsing it away. 4. Peel the shell starting from the head end and working toward the tail. The tail can be left on for presentation if desired. Making the cut before fully peeling allows easier vein removal. The vein should be removed both for aesthetic reasons and because it can contain grit. Butterflying, deeper cut, can be done for dishes like shrimp tempura. Question 133. What is a liaison in sauce preparation? A. A reduction of wine and shallots according to industry standard practice. B. A mixture of cornstarch and cold water under standard operating conditions. C. A mixture of butter and flour kneaded together. D. A mixture of egg yolks and cream used for enriching and thickening. The correct option is B. A mixture of cornstarch and cold water under standard operating conditions. A liaison is a mixture of egg yolks and heavy cream used to enrich and thicken sauces and soups at the end of cooking. The typical ratio is 1 part egg yolk to 3 parts cream. To use a liaison safely, you must temper it by gradually whisking hot liquid into the cold liaison to raise its temperature slowly, preventing the eggs from scrambling. Once tempered, the liaison is stirred into the sauce off the heat. The sauce must not boil after the liaison is added, or the eggs will curdle. Liaisons provide richness, a silky texture, and a slight thickening effect. They are commonly used to finish cream soups like vichyssoise and velouté-based sauces. Question 134. What are the 3 main types of gelatin used in professional cooking for making gels and glazes? A. Granulated gelatin, liquid gelatin, and cornstarch-based thickeners. B. Sheet gelatin, bronze, silver, gold, powdered gelatin, and agar-agar. C. Pectin, carrageenan, and xanthan gum only. D. Knox gelatin, Jell-O, and aspic powder. The correct option is B. Sheet gelatin, bronze, silver, gold, powdered gelatin, and agar-agar. The 3 main gelatin types are 1. Sheet gelatin, leaf gelatin, graded by bloom strength, preferred by professionals for crystal clear results. 2. Powdered gelatin, widely available and requiring blooming in cold liquid. 3. Agar-agar, a vegetarian seaweed-derived alternative. Liquid gelatin, option B, does not exist as a standard commercial product. Gelatin must be hydrated before use. Cornstarch is a thickener, not a gelling agent. Pectin, carrageenan, and xanthan gum, option C, are different hydrocolloids used for specific purposes, not the main gelatin types. Knox and Jell-O, option D, are brand names for powdered gelatin, not separate types, and aspic powder is simply flavored gelatin. Question 135. When preparing a mayonnaise-based dressing that has broken, separated into oil and water phases, what is the correct rescue technique? A. Start with a fresh egg yolk in a clean bowl, then slowly whisk in the broken mayonnaise while adding oil gradually. B. Add ice water and whisk vigorously until recombined as determined by the initial assessment. C. Discard and start over, as broken emulsions cannot be repaired under standard operating conditions. D. Heat the broken mayonnaise to 60 degrees Celsius and blend on high speed according to industry standard practice. The correct option is A. Start with a fresh egg yolk in a clean bowl, then slowly whisk in the broken mayonnaise while adding oil gradually. A broken mayonnaise can be rescued by starting fresh with a new emulsifier base, egg yolk or prepared mustard, in a clean bowl, then slowly whisking in the broken emulsion as if it were oil. This re-establishes the emulsion structure. The key is gradual incorporation while whisking continuously to rebuild the oil-in-water suspension. Question 136. What is the primary reason for soaking dried legumes before cooking? A. To increase protein content through hydration according to industry standard practice. B. To reduce cooking time and improve digestibility by reducing oligosaccharides. C. To enhance flavor and increase vitamin content under standard operating conditions. D. To remove pesticides and chemical residues based on manufacturer recommendations. The correct option is A. To increase protein content through hydration according to industry standard practice. Soaking dried legumes serves two main purposes. It significantly reduces cooking time by allowing water to penetrate the beans, and it improves digestibility by reducing oligosaccharides, complex sugars that cause gas. Soaking also produces more evenly cooked beans with better texture. The soaking water should be discarded as it contains the released oligosaccharides. Question 137. When making spätzle, German egg noodles, what is the correct consistency for the batter? A. Stiff and dry like pasta dough according to industry standard practice. B. Smooth and thick like cake batter, dropping slowly from spoon. C. Thin and pourable like pancake batter based on manufacturer recommendations. D. Thick and firm like bread dough under standard operating conditions. The correct option is A. Stiff and dry like pasta dough according to industry standard practice. Spätzle batter should be smooth, thick, and elastic, similar to thick cake batter that drops slowly from a spoon. If too thick, the spätzle will be heavy and dense. If too thin, they will fall apart in the cooking water. The batter should be thick enough to hold its shape when pressed through the spätzle maker but fluid enough to pass through easily. Question 138. When making hollandaise sauce, what is the correct temperature range for the emulsification process? A. 63 to 71 degrees Celsius, hot but not simmering. B. 82 to 88 degrees Celsius, near boiling. C. 49 to 54 degrees Celsius, warm to touch. D. 18 to 21 degrees Celsius, room temperature. The correct option is B. 82 to 88 degrees Celsius, near boiling. The ideal temperature range for hollandaise emulsification is 145 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit, 63 to 71 degrees Celsius. This temperature range is hot enough to properly cook the egg yolks and create a stable emulsion, but not so hot that the eggs scramble. The process involves whisking egg yolks with a reduction over gentle heat, often in a bain-marie or double boiler, until the mixture reaches this temperature range and forms ribbons. Then clarified butter is added in a slow, steady stream while whisking constantly. If temperature is too low, less than 145 degrees Fahrenheit, the emulsion won't form properly and may be too thin. If temperature is too high, greater than 160 degrees Fahrenheit, the eggs will scramble and the sauce will break. A thermometer is helpful for consistent results. Question 139. When preparing a grilled Reuben sandwich, what is the correct order of assembly and cooking procedure? A. Butter bread, layer cheese corned beef sauerkraut cheese, grill both sides until golden. B. Oil bread, layer all ingredients, press and panini press for 30 seconds. C. Butter bread, layer corned beef dressing sauerkraut cheese, grill until cheese melts and bread is golden. D. Butter one side only, layer ingredients, grill butter side only. The correct option is D. Butter one side only, layer ingredients, grill butter side only. A proper Reuben sandwich is assembled with buttered rye bread, corned beef, Russian or Thousand Island dressing, sauerkraut, well drained to prevent sogginess, and Swiss cheese. It must be grilled on both sides until the bread achieves a golden brown, crispy exterior and the cheese is fully melted. The key is medium heat, allowing the interior to warm through while the exterior crisps. The dressing provides tanginess that balances the rich corned beef and tangy sauerkraut. Question 140. When preparing beef liver for cooking, what is the essential first step to improve flavor and texture? A. Brine in salt water for 2 hours. B. Freeze for 24 hours to break down tissue structure. C. Score the surface in a crosshatch pattern. D. Remove the outer membrane and any visible blood vessels. The correct option is B. Freeze for 24 hours to break down tissue structure. The essential first step when preparing beef liver is to remove the thin outer membrane, peritoneum, and any visible blood vessels or connective tissue. The membrane becomes tough when cooked and can cause the liver to curl. Blood vessels contribute to bitter flavor. Use a sharp knife to gently peel away the membrane. Soaking in milk can reduce strong flavor, but membrane removal is the critical structural preparation. Proper preparation of variety meats is essential for quality results. Question 141. What is the proper technique for toasting nuts to enhance their flavor for use in salads and desserts? A. Deep fry in 190 degrees Celsius oil for 2 to 3 minutes until golden. B. Toast in a dry pan over low heat for 20 to 25 minutes without stirring. C. Toast in a single layer in a 175 degrees Celsius oven for 8 to 12 minutes, stirring once halfway through. D. Microwave on high for 3 to 4 minutes, stirring every minute. The correct option is A. Deep fry in 190 degrees Celsius oil for 2 to 3 minutes until golden. The optimal method for toasting nuts is to spread them in a single layer on a baking sheet and toast in a preheated 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 175 degrees Celsius, oven for 8 to 12 minutes, stirring once halfway through. This ensures even toasting and prevents burning. Nuts are done when fragrant and lightly golden. Watch carefully as they can burn quickly. Let cool completely before using, as the oils continue to develop flavor. Pan toasting works for small quantities but requires constant attention. Question 142. Which type of lettuce is most resistant to wilting and best suited for grilled salads? A. Mesclun mix. B. Boston lettuce. C. Romaine lettuce. D. Iceberg lettuce. The correct option is B. Boston lettuce. Romaine lettuce has sturdy, thick ribs and leaves that maintain structure when exposed to heat, making it ideal for grilled Caesar salads and other warm preparations. Its high water content and firm texture prevent rapid wilting. Other varieties like Boston lettuce, butter lettuce, and mesclun are too delicate and wilt immediately when heated. Iceberg has structure but lacks the flavor depth expected in grilled applications. Question 143. Which cheese category does Parmigiano Reggiano belong to? A. Fresh cheese. B. Soft ripened cheese. C. Blue vein cheese. D. Hard aged cheese. The correct option is B. Soft ripened cheese. Parmigiano Reggiano is aged 12 to 36 months, developing crystalline texture and complex flavor. Hard-aged cheeses have low moisture from extensive aging. Fresh cheeses are unaged with high moisture. Soft-ripened cheeses have mold rinds. Blue cheeses have internal mold cultures. Question 144. What is the purpose of using pink curing salt, sodium nitrite, in charcuterie? A. To tenderize tough cuts of meat under standard operating conditions. B. To prevent bacterial growth, especially Clostridium botulinum, and develop cured color. C. To speed up the drying process according to industry standard practice. D. To add a sweet flavor to cured meats based on manufacturer recommendations. The correct option is C. To speed up the drying process according to industry standard practice. Pink curing salt, Prague powder number 1, containing 6.25% sodium nitrite, serves two critical functions: preventing the growth of Clostridium botulinum, which causes botulism, and developing the characteristic pink color of cured meats. It's essential for food safety in charcuterie preparations like bacon, ham, and sausages. The pink dye identifies it as curing salt to prevent confusion with regular salt. It does not tenderize meat, add sweetness, or speed drying. Those are functions of other ingredients in curing recipes. Question 145. What is the proper method for making a classic French omelette? A. Beat eggs with water, cook on high heat, flip halfway through. B. Cook eggs flat without stirring, add filling, fold in half. C. Continuously stir eggs while cooking, add filling before rolling into cylinder. D. Cook eggs slowly until completely set, add filling, then fold. The correct option is B. Cook eggs flat without stirring, add filling, fold in half. A classic French omelette is made by continuously stirring beaten eggs over medium-high heat while gently shaking the pan to create small, soft curds. When eggs are still slightly wet, the filling is added to one side, then the omelette is rolled into a smooth cylinder shape. The exterior should be pale yellow with no browning. Question 146. What is the proper procedure for trussing a whole chicken for roasting? A. Wrap twine around the body lengthwise, tie legs together, secure wings. B. Tie the drumsticks together at the ankles, tuck wings under the body. C. Cross the legs, wrap twine around the body and through the legs, secure wings underneath. D. Tie wings to body, cross drumsticks and tie at the tail. The correct option is D. Tie wings to body, cross drumsticks and tie at the tail. Proper trussing technique: 1. Cross the drumsticks and tie together with twine. 2. Wrap twine around the body to hold legs close, threading through over around the drumsticks. 3. Tuck wing tips behind the back, secure under body. 4. Tie off to create compact shape. This ensures even cooking, prevents extremities from overcooking, and creates an attractive presentation. Trussing helps the bird maintain moisture and cook uniformly by creating a compact, uniform shape. Question 147. Which mother sauce serves as the base for sauce béarnaise? A. Béchamel. B. Espagnole. C. Veloute. D. Hollandaise. The correct option is B. Espagnole. Sauce béarnaise is a derivative of hollandaise, the emulsified butter mother sauce. While hollandaise is made with a reduction of white wine vinegar, water, and peppercorns whisked with egg yolks and finished with clarified butter and lemon juice, béarnaise uses a reduction of white wine vinegar, white wine, shallots, tarragon, and peppercorns. The béarnaise is then whisked with egg yolks and finished with clarified butter and fresh tarragon and chervil. Both are warm emulsified sauces using the same emulsification technique but different flavoring ingredients. Béarnaise is classically served with grilled meats, especially steak. Question 148. What is the proper method for cooking dried pasta? A. Use 1 liter of water per 100 grams pasta, bring to boil, add salt, add pasta, stir occasionally. B. Use 1 liter of water per 100 grams pasta, add pasta to cold water, bring to boil. C. Use 2 liters water per 100 grams pasta, bring to boil, add pasta, cover and simmer. D. Use 500 milliliters water per 100 grams pasta, bring to boil with oil, add pasta without stirring. The correct option is D. Use 500 milliliters water per 100 grams pasta, bring to boil with oil, add pasta without stirring. The proper method uses approximately 1 liter of well-salted boiling water per 100 grams of pasta. Some chefs prefer even more water. Bring water to a rolling boil, add salt, about 10 grams per liter, add pasta, stir immediately and occasionally to prevent sticking. Never add oil to the water. Cook uncovered at a rolling boil until al dente, then drain, reserving some pasta water for sauce. Question 149. What is the key difference between preparing a broth and preparing a stock? A. Broth is served as a finished product with meat, stock is used as an ingredient. B. Broth requires longer cooking time than stock based on manufacturer recommendations. C. Broth uses only vegetables, stock uses bones under standard operating conditions. D. Broth must be clarified, stock does not according to industry standard practice. The correct option is C. Broth uses only vegetables, stock uses bones under standard operating conditions. The fundamental difference is in purpose and presentation. Broth is a finished soup served with the meat and vegetables used to make it, while stock is a flavored liquid foundation used as an ingredient in other preparations. Broth typically has less concentrated flavor and lighter body than stock. Both can be made from meat and bones, but stock emphasizes bones for gelatin extraction, 6 to 8 hours for veal, while broth emphasizes the meat flavor, 2 to 3 hours. Neither requires clarification unless making consommé. Question 150. When pan-frying fish fillets, what technique ensures even cooking and prevents the fillet from curling? A. Cook only on the flesh side without flipping. B. Score the skin side with shallow diagonal cuts before cooking. C. Press down firmly on the fillet with a spatula throughout cooking. D. Freeze the fillet for 10 minutes before cooking. The correct option is D. Freeze the fillet for 10 minutes before cooking. Scoring the skin side of fish fillets with shallow diagonal cuts, cross-hatching, before cooking prevents curling by cutting through the connective tissue that contracts when exposed to heat. The cuts should be shallow, not through to the flesh, about 1/8 inch deep, spaced about 1 inch apart. When cooking, place the fillet skin side down first in hot oil, and use a fish spatula to gently press for just the first few seconds to ensure even contact. The scoring technique is particularly important for fish with skin like salmon, branzino, or sea bass. This ensures crispy skin and prevents the fillet from warping. Thank you for practicing with Question Bank Hub. Good luck on your Cook Red Seal certification exam. Don't forget to subscribe for more exam preparation content.